6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. NFL news yesterday. The Texans and linebacker Aziz Al-Shaair agreed to a 3-year, $54 million deal per Mike Garafolo. Al-Shaair gets a top 10 contract in the linebacker market and a deal done ahead of what would have been a contract year for Al-Shaair. In the NBA playoffs last night, Paolo Banchero for the Pistons and Cade Cunningham for the Magic dueled it out as they each had 45 points. But the Pistons forced Game 6, beating the Magic 116-109 in Game 5. The Cavaliers took a 3-2 series lead over the Raptors after winning 125-120. And the Rockets have now won 2 straight and forced Game 6 after beating the Lakers 99-93 in Game 5. In the NHL playoffs, the Canadiens took a 3-2 series lead after beating the Lightning 3-2. The Flyers took Game 6 and the series after beating the Penguins 1-0 in overtime as they now move on to round 2. And the Golden Knights in the nightcap win again in overtime over the Mammoth 5-4. They take a 3-2 series lead in their series. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once and your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning, off and running on 104.5 The Zone. Good morning on a brisk spring morning in Music City, the final April day. 615-737-1045 is our number. We go back in the film room to break down the clips of Keldric Faulk at Auburn. New first-round pick for the Tennessee Titans. His rookie minicamp begins tomorrow. Which Vols coach is under the most pressure in 2026? We'll play some audio of what Josh Heupel told 3HL about the quarterback battle yesterday. Mike Wilson joins us at 9:20. We'll talk some Tennessee hoops as they continue their pursuit of the top remaining player in the transfer portal. And we take your comments and thoughts, your musings in the F&M Big Chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on Thursday, April the 30th. Good morning. How are we doing?
We're good, man. Good morning. Happy Friday, Junior, out here. Got back cooler outside. I wore like a light sweatshirt and light sweatpants today. It's that type of day outside this morning, man. But all is well coming from Hendersonville this morning. Oh, by the way, there was an EF1 that did drop down in like Robertson County Ridge.
You were right. You started the show the other day with your weather report saying that there's probably going to be a little nugget that'll drop about a tornado that dropped, and you were exactly right.
It looked like it hit a couple barns and stuff like that. The damage was there and around, but thank God it wasn't anything too serious. I do think it hit down and got back up pretty quickly, but it's still scary because, I don't know, in the middle of the night is the worst as well, and it seems to be Sumner County, Robertson County, heck, for that matter, Nashville's timeline is. We'll get it in the mid mornings of a dead night. So it is what it is, though, man. Can't control nature.
I don't know why that's the way it always works here, but that is the way that it always seems to work here.
It is, man. And yesterday was a good flushing too. By the way, that was nothing personal. It's just I feel like everybody got out their shake up from the Titans yesterday evening. I feel like it's kind of breathable time of the year right now. Will
clean slate, right?
Clean slate.
I mean, it's kind of what it feels like under Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh, and no more Chad Brinker. Rand Carthon obviously has been gone for a couple of years, and that entire regime that resulted in some rough seasons of Brian Callahan. And it's a kind of a new day that begins really in a lot of ways tomorrow with rookie minicamp open to the media tomorrow and Saturday.
Gosh. Rookie minicamp. It's funny becoming going from a young guy to a vet in the NFL because I see these guys come in. They usually tell the vets to stay away. The vets don't usually go on the field for this. You can go work out, get your workout in, and pretty much just leave. Don't go outside disrupting the young dudes and stuff like that. Because these dudes are fighting. Like, there's a lot of dudes in here that it's a few dudes is what I say. I won't say a lot that'll end up getting signed based off of this weekend. And the last thing you need to be is an old guy, old head out there watching guys and laughing or cackling or just being distracting to guys. Or to be quite honest with you, depending on who you are, intimidating, some of the guys. I don't think anybody is really that intimidated, but I'll throw it out there. If it was James Harrison that showed up during my rookie minicamp, I'm probably going to stop and look and talk and be a little distracted. If it's, you know what I'm saying, like Jeffrey Simmons out there for rookies, I'm probably going to be a little distracted just based off the fact you've watched this guy. He is where you want to go. And the coaches, from my understanding, like to see guys stay locked in and focus on a task, because none of that you're going into on a weekend like this, rookie weekend, belongs to you yet. It is a hopeless feeling. I saw a guy yesterday that was tweeting. I don't know where he was. I think I saved, not bookmarked it to go back to it. But he didn't get drafted. It was a college football player, and he had a tweet I think is going lightly viral right now because it started to rack up impressions on it by the time I saw it and by the time I went back to it. But the post-draft reality, I guess, is what I call it, because NFL makes you feel like everybody got a chance, which you kind of do. But he was just like, no phone calls, no text. I hadn't got an offer to go into a training camp. And a part of me was just like, that falls on you, you know? But the other side, the human side of it for me is like, dang, like that's the one part about transitioning from college football in my era to this era, where some of them do get a little bit of money to leave. That was the biggest part to me, is during college you get no job experience. Yeah, you get a degree. I'm not sure how many players or ladies, fellas or ladies, use their degree in which they got it in, because usually it's a be available for practice type of degree. And that's just the reality of it as well.
Right.
Right. It's a be ready. That's sociology, psychology, sports management. We can go communicate. We go through the whole gambit, right?
Political science,
American studies, all of them. But I felt for that dude at the same time, because I'm like, he had high aspirations and goals to get a tryout in the NFL. He probably thought he was going to be drafted like most of us and didn't. And here he is right now, facepalm. You know what I'm saying? Like, facing his hand just on the fact that he doesn't know what to do with his life. And I feel like that's a wild part of this process that we do not talk about a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in the transfer portal we talk about the hits and we don't talk as much about the misses. Yeah. And unfortunately, there are more misses than there are hits. And there are more people who get lost in the portal and more people who get lost in the draft process versus the ones who really do make it at the end of the day. And I know you didn't have the draft that you specifically wanted in your career, but you made it.
I made it.
And you are a dime a dozen of the ones that can prolong a long career, much less a decade-plus career out of this process. What were the first days for you like when you got the invitation and you got the signing to go join the Pittsburgh Steelers at camp?
It was bitter and sweet, because the letdown of not getting drafted, mind you, I had a son, RJ, at the time. So I'm thinking of, the economics of raising a child, that part of it, because not that I was going to use the NFL to take care of my son, but I was going to use the NFL to take care of my family. And so that plays, how am I going to earn? Legitimately, I had 4 weeks of work at Calhoun's on the River Catering. That's all I had to my name, okay? So where am I going to go work? So is that part of it that's bitter, and also not achieving your goals as well, however that unfolded. But the sweet part is at the end of, like, the calls and the draft weekend, the reality that you have a place to go. People are excited for you. And a lot of the time, too, people around you in your circle don't know what undrafted free agent means. Like, I have to go make the team. So it was sweet belong to someplace. A lot of people like Pittsburgh in general, too. There's a lot of fans come out of the woodwork that, didn't care if I was drafted or undrafted as fans. It's like, yeah, man, you going up there. Mm-hmm. You want to hear what's crazy about the process? It didn't register to me that Pittsburgh had just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was so locked in during my training period. I'm sure I watched a little bit of the game and stuff like that, but I didn't care. But the sweet part was belonging. And it was worrisome as well, though, too, because, again, nothing was guaranteed. I got $8,000 to sign.
Was there ever a player when you were a vet? Like, did you at least stick around and watch practice ever during rookie minicamp when you were a veteran?
Not really. My mind, because like my process was like I felt like, and I've said this before, well, at least privately, I was always in chase mode. I felt like
sure. Well, and I think back to last year when we've heard Titans veterans talk about seeing Cam Ward throw for the first time and thinking like, oh, okay, well, that's our quarterback. Was there ever a player that you saw for the first time when you were a veteran for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a player that you saw practice for the first time and thought, whoa, that's a guy? To be fair, you guys drafted so many of them in your time there. That's probably,
but even still,
probably a lot of them.
Like in the early phase of it, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. The guy.
It takes a lot to impress a veteran.
It does.
Yeah.
And you're also fighting for and hoping for your job. Like I never really saw one of the corners of safeties, and I went, whoa. You're just looking outside. Offensive linemen were in direct competition with me.
They're in competition with you, and defenders are trying to practice against you.
Exactly.
So you don't like those guys.
I created a dark place for myself mentally.
Really?
I did. Because none of them mattered. I brought along guys. Like, I'll never forget.
Got the blinders on.
I did. It was a guy that they brought in 2 years after me, Keith Washington from Nebraska, guard. Like, I partied with him in Vegas just because, like, man, I'm not going to hate on you, but when it comes to training camp, I'm going to get your ass cut. I didn't, like, I was a sicko about it. And I would tell anybody that's chasing it, like these young undrafted guys, you better be a sicko about it.
It's kind of cutthroat.
It is.
Well, not kind of. It is very cutthroat.
Because, like, it's my job or your job.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be tough to, like, turn on the teammate side of things, too, when you do make the team with some of those guys.
But see, that part is easy. That part, like switching that switch from like 90 to like 53.
Like, hey, we made it.
Hey, dog, man, congratulations.
Now
like,
we really are on the same team.
We really are on the same team right now. That's why, like, I joked that time about like the Rocky Boydman conversation or guys I played with. I didn't know their names because like either you were with me for 1 year or a short spell when they were signing free agents at the end of the season, or like I was so locked in I didn't really pay attention to it. And there's no disrespect to those guys. Like I tried not to remember or be locked into a lot of this stuff because I was focused in on me as an undrafted. Like there's a hard life to live, and that's one thing. Like I will say about just looking at, for instance, Joey Aguilar and Diego Pavia's situation. Just use them two, right?
Sure.
Like those two guys have opportunities. They're places where they got established quarterbacks. Like their job right now and their role is to put themselves in a position to where, be quite honest with you, they grab some level of excitement. That is the first thing you need to do as a rookie. Get the coaches to notice you. And if you do that, one, you got something that they can hang their hat onto. Is something special about you. Like I do think if Diego makes it to preseason games, he needs to get hit, pop up, and show excitement. He going to make the team if that's the case, or at least the practice squad. He'll make the practice squad is what I say. Joey Aguilar, the same thing. Sling it. They got weapons down there. Go get it. Like, show the arm talent and show that you're capable of it as well.
You can throw to the blocking tight end that was drafted in the second round.
Make him your best friend. Can I be real?
Nate Borkircher.
What's her name? Lainey Wilson. Her fiance, I think her husband.
I think still fiance. I don't know.
So definitely Hodges. There we go.
Fiance.
That's a great story.
Doug Hodges from Samford to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Duck might be listening this morning because he's here in this area too, by the way. Duck, I saw him at a Titans game when I was working sidelines. Duck Hodges, a.k.a. his real name is Devlin, who's engaged to Lainey Wilson.
Yep.
Duck came in with a name. We're like, who the hell is Duck? You know what he did initially? He made us like him. He was like, why we call you Duck? He started doing the duck calls like he was a high school champion duck caller. And then he was super cool. I see how he got Lainey, okay? He was so cool.
Always the funny guy.
I'm telling you. Will, he was so
the funny
cool.
guy or the mean guy?
Yes, it's one or the other. And Duck is by far one of the coolest, funniest dudes you'll meet. And the smile that just brightens the entire room. So everybody grew a liking the Duck. I was like, how you here? Where's Samford? I didn't know where Samford was really at the time like that. And he's talking, chilling, doing his thing. And the thing about Duck is you start to learn, like, how in the hell is he here? He's not that tall, not that big. And then you see him sling the pill around. And then you're like, oh. And, like, guys gravitate to players that have something unique about them. Like, you either better be a little funny early on and have some talent, because when the vets start to take a liking to you, it kind of gives you grace. The coaches notice that, like, being a good teammate, if you are not a superstar, that plays a huge part in the team chemistry and stuff, too.
And all that begins now. Rookie minicamp starting tomorrow for open portions to the media tomorrow and Saturday as well. We're going to take a look at the Keldric Faulk film this morning. And Ramon, just from the broad sense and what you have seen of him, and I watched a little bit of him as well yesterday, how impactful do you expect him to be in 2026? Because this is a very different prospect with very different expectations from the other first-round pick, Cornell Tate.
I think it'll be a slow roll. If he jumps out as a day one starter, I'll be very shocked. I don't think there's no need for him at this point. You got Jermaine Johnson in his place. Rotational is what I see. It would be legitimately to me, I feel, because you can't, I don't want to say you want to give him too much too soon, but I feel like they'll slow drip him. They'll IV bag him his way into getting a bigger role. And his roles to me will probably end up being on first and second down to start it off because that is his, I personally think that's his calling card right now.
Do you think Jermaine Johnson starts in his place? Because I wonder if Jermaine Johnson is the quick end and you have John Franklin Myers and Keldric Faulk more at the strong end side of this defense.
I see Jermaine just on the fact that one, they traded.
You see him as the bigger end?
I see him just as the starter in general.
Because there's, on two sides, wouldn't one side be Jermaine Johnson, Femi Oladejo, and the other side be John Franklin Myers and Keldric Faulk?
You giving it to Femi as a starter?
No, I'm saying one side.
One
is
side of it,
Jermaine with a backup of Femi, and then the strong side is JFM and Keldric Faulk. Because Salas mentioned on early downs, John Franklin Myers is an end in this defense.
Yeah, I still see it as Jermaine Johnson on this one. Like he's a starter to begin with,
right?
Like,
I do too.
Yeah, and I don't.
I'm saying on the other side.
On the other side, yeah, I know, but like I don't see personally Keldric starting early in the season.
Either.
Yeah.
I'm saying John Franklin Myers is on one side.
Yeah.
Jermaine Johnson is on the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's how I see it.
Keldric Faulk is behind John Franklin Myers.
Yes.
Femi is behind Jermaine Johnson.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool. Yes, that's how I see it.
Sounds good.
I was looking like, hold up now. Is you saying his starter still or
we'll
not?
drink more coffee, and when we come back, we'll hit the Thursday morning headlines. We've got trash talk in the SEC West, Kentucky basketball taking another L, and The Athletic with some very interesting analysis regarding the Titans after this.
This Mother's Day, yeah, fellas and ladies and children, we are getting close, and I'm reminding you right now, for the mother in your life, don't just mail it in. Get her something memorable, meaningful, timeless. Show her how much she's appreciated with a beautiful piece of jewelry from Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds has created the best Mother's Day collection ever. Imagine her face lighting up when she opens a dazzling diamond bracelet, a pair of sparkling diamond earrings, or a stunning colored gemstone pendant. Each one hand-selected and designed to last not just this year, for decades of birthdays, anniversaries, and just ordinary days to come. Genesis has the gifts that make a statement. Guys, you need to check this out. And this year, Genesis added brand new creations from their exclusive designers. Truly one-of-a-kind pieces she won't see anywhere else. In fact, for the ultimate way to show how much she means to you, step inside Genesis' brand new half-price vault, a special collection of exquisite jewelry, all at an incredible 50% off. Yes, I do mean 50% off. So this Mother's Day, give her more than a casual gift. Give her a memory she'll wear close to her heart every single day. Genesis Diamonds, they're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Thursday mornings on Ramon and Will are known as Friday Junior here on the program. 615-737-1045, our number. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, Zach Kroll. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Whenever you hear oohs and ahs from the background of Ramon and Will, you know that Ramon is watching film. And that later in the show, we will go in the Foster film room at 8:20, talking about Keldric Faulk.
Keldric just got his lick back on Baylor. That's all it was. He's got like 2 tackles for loss in this game, or at least one.
We're in the middle of week 1 right now.
We are. It's week 1 right here. And this left tackle from Baylor has been trying to lock him up. First play of the game, he snatched him real quick because Keldric plays a little high from time to time. And this is in the second series where everything just kind of settles down. Like in the second series, like we're playing ball now in the second time. And he caught number 69, the left tackle, slipping, knocked him to the ground. Just stutter bull rush and put him on his butt real quick, man. So he got his lick back from that first series.
Going to be interesting following Keldric Faulk's development this season, and we'll talk more about it later in the show. But there was a power ranking from The Athletic, which many of you have circulated on social media, and I'll just be honest, I couldn't care less about. I don't know how. I would try to care less, but I don't know how, to quote Coach Mack. Look, it's hard for me to care about power rankings in September. It is not. We're not close to September. This is April still. For one more day. Tomorrow it'll be May. But for now, it is still April. And The Athletic has a post-draft power ranking that ranks the Titans 32nd in the NFL.
Can I be sick for a second?
You may be whatever you'd like to be.
No, I will not do it. I'll say it off air. I will not. It's an athletic connection to something that happened.
Oh.
No, I will not.
Well, they no longer have as much inside information.
This is true.
With Diana Rossini's inability to advocate for the Titans in The Athletic.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, that's a joke.
That's the joke.
Still. Josh Kendall, the one writing this. I feel like this opinion is kind of invalidated by the caveat of who's going to have the best rookie season. And he says Keldric Faulk. At 6'6", 276, he says Keldric Faulk has the power to pile up sacks, even if he's not a 3-down player right away. Robert Saleh's defense will allow him to get the most out of his natural gifts early. Yeah, I don't think that's... I would put 2 or 3 guys ahead of who I think has the best rookie season for the Titans. I think Carnell Tate and Anthony Hill Jr. are both going to have a bigger impact in 2026 than Keldric Faulk is, right?
Yeah, that's
no
the way
disrespect to Keldric. It's just skill set and project, I think, at pick 31, and 2 guys who I think are going to be ready to contribute right away, and Tate and Anthony Hill Jr.
And that's the way I see it as well. Like the ball has to come out and has to be thrown to somebody. If Carnell Tate can get open the way we think he can and sharpens his skills, like he will catch the ball. He'll have an immediate impact on the team. And Anthony Hill Jr., to me, you just said it yourself. He controls his own narrative almost. Like, brother, if you learn this playbook and can key and diagnose, as Coach Mack would say from time to time, and make plays for yourself, like that to me is where he wins. His ability to play linebacker to me is what I thought was a specialty. Like, you're not changing his position. I know he's a second round pick, but like his key and diagnose is elite when it comes down to going and making tackles all across the field as well. So yeah, I would put those 2 guys ahead of him easily. And I'd probably put Anthony Hill ahead of Carnell.
Okay. You think Anthony Hill Jr. has the biggest impact of any Titans rookie this year?
Yes. I don't want to disrespect the defense by saying it's easier, but it's easier. Like, you go make plays, and at that position, like the way Jeff and that defensive line should free him up to go get it, he should be able to go get it, barring any crazy scenario that'll pop up. But the same way Schlesinger out of Cleveland played last year, I see the same thing happening for him. It'll probably end up being a tight race. Defensive Rookie of the Year. If they live up to it, my 3, Anthony Hill Jr., Sonny Styles, Caleb Banks.
Caleb Banks?
No, not Caleb Banks. Caleb Downs.
Oh, okay.
Downs.
I was going to say.
Not Banks. Now, if I'm right later and it's Caleb Banks, reclip this. Never mind. But
you reserve the right to be right on both of them.
Caleb Downs, just because of the star in Dallas. And they need a player like him.
He's just such a high floor player.
Yeah. Those are my big 3 for Defensive Player of the Year, though, I think.
Bottom of the league in the post-draft power rankings from The Athletic has the Titans 32, Jets 31, Cardinals 30, Raiders 29, Giants 28 at the bottom of this thing. I have a hard time putting a Kirk Cousins-led Raiders team, a Jacoby Brissett-led Cardinals team, or Carson Beck, perhaps, and a Geno Smith-led Jets team in front of the Tennessee Titans, considering the moves they made this offseason, at the very least.
Yeah.
I got a lot of issues with this list. I mean, Cleveland being at 27, we'll talk about their quarterback situation, which, by the way, Mary Kay Cabot reported. If you didn't know, Mary Kay Cabot reported about the quarterback. Mary Kay Cabot had the report about Deshaun Watson. Did you know Mary Kay Cabot reported it about the quarterback
Did
situation?
you know it was breaking news from her?
If you missed it, she said that Deshaun Watson has the inside track and to be the starting quarterback still for Cleveland. And every time anyone makes mention of anything that she reported first, she's got to remind everyone, hey, that's my breaking news. So according to her breaking news that she put on Twitter, which Mary Kay Cabot put on Twitter, Mary Kay Cabot's breaking news.
She did. Like,
is this good enough?
Y'all need to go see it. Like,
yeah, it's a little
nobody's taking credit from her. And I'm not sure what the Cleveland media is like or who she's been burned by. She's a very respected lady, been in this industry for a long time.
Absolutely.
And says cover the Cleveland Browns, so I know she's tough as hell, okay? But
yeah,
she will not let you steal her thunder whatsoever when it boils down to breaking news. Like, the quote tweet did say, and from breaking news from me, from a tweet that she also put out herself.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Number one team in the Athletics post-draft power rankings, the Seattle Seahawks. To no one's surprise. Patriots 2. Okay.
Patriots 2. Seattle, Patriots 2.
Maybe Diana is involved. Denver 3, San Francisco 4. You just got that. Yeah, that was that one. It took a minute I pulled the pin and that one didn't explode for another second. Rams 5 to round out the top 5. Anyway,
so
moving on.
The good teams they say still did good.
Moving on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Way too early mock draft for 2027. Dane Brugler has the Arizona Cardinals selecting Arch Manning, quarterback, Texas, with the number one pick of the 2027 NFL draft.
I don't know if there's a scenario in which Arch is not the number one pick. Like, there's probably going to be a quarterback that outplays him or that goes toe-to-toe with him.
Maybe. They're loaded. Texas is.
Yeah, they are. They're very good this year. Tennessee better have their mind right.
2 new running backs, Cam Coleman. I mean, like, a lot of drop passes on film from Arch Manning last season.
No doubt.
And he got so much better as the season went.
You were the first one on. It's like, no, I'm telling you, it's going to be there.
We spiked the football because it was popular on social media to spike the football. Yeah. But when you look at the totality of the entire season, I think Arch Manning met Steve Sarkisian's expectations for him last season because Steve Sarkisian was consistent. He was never on the runaway train of Arch Manning hype that I and many other people were riding to enter last season.
Yeah.
But by the end of the season, he looked like Arch Manning.
But that's the way it should go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should go like that. The expectation that we're putting on these young quarterbacks is just out of this world. But it's funny because every team I feel like now is looking for the veteran guy, at least in the portal, unless you had Brendan Sorsby as your quarterback.
It's true.
It's true.
Very true. In that top 10, Dane Brugler has Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith going second to the Miami Dolphins. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore becoming the 18th quarterback in the Cleveland Browns room. I say that jokingly. Taylor Green might be a tight end by that point, to be fair, because he's such a good athlete. Yeah, please, if anyone reads this and doesn't credit Mary Kay Cabot for reading it first, what are we doing? Jets would take Leonard Moore, corner out of Notre Dame. The Titans would go with Dylan Stewart, edge rusher, South Carolina. Dylan Stewart film compared to David Bailey film.
Just hot.
Better?
Way better.
Yeah.
From a freshman.
Yeah.
Better.
Dylan Stewart has, on like, for anyone who's ever played the Madden video game, like there's like a really like overpowered like jump that certain edge rushers get. It's like an X Factor mode kind of thing where like, I don't know. Just imagine if you are of an older generation, how dominant Bo Jackson was in Tecmo Bowl. That's how dominant they make some edge rushers now on Madden. Dylan Stewart actually is that dominant.
In real life.
In real life on the South Carolina Gamecocks. And South Carolina could have a couple of high-picked guys in the NFL draft between him and Lenore Sellers next year.
He's a mix of Von Miller and Daniil Hunter to me.
Ooh.
Like, he's that level of bend, power, violence. Like, where they got the Titans slated to pick in this one?
5. This is just based off Super Bowl odds as of today, is what Dane Brugler
Listen,
said.
Lord, I know you've done for others. Titans fans, you should be singing that prayer right now.
Well, and Colin Simmons out of Texas is not far behind him either at 6'3", 245, and he led the SEC in sacks last year, not Dylan Stewart.
Quietly, he did. But and to your point, that defense was good at Texas this past year.
It's fine.
Well, they had some.
They got their DC fired.
Well, probably just trying to get to the next level.
That's why Will Muschamp's the defensive coordinator at Texas now.
That could be damning for a lot of people in the SEC.
Cam Coleman goes 6, wide receiver out of now Texas, formerly of Auburn. Colin Simmons, Drew Mestamaker to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would have a top 10 pick in this mock draft. When's the last time that happened?
Can I be real with you?
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I heard the name Mestamaker. This is the first time I've ever heard of him.
From North Texas to Oklahoma State.
That's who that is.
He is the Cam Ward / John Mateer adjacent. I'm going to follow my offensive coordinator to a new spot quarterback of 2026.
So it was him, his coordinator, his wide receiver, and a few other running back.
Half the team, running back as well. Eric Morris, who also coached Cam Ward at Washington State.
Yes.
Who will be making that move as the head coach at Oklahoma State now, replacing Mike Gundy.
I've heard of him. My bad, Mestamaker. That's on me.
Jordan Seaton, tackle at LSU. Amari Washington, D-tackle, Oregon, rounding out the top 10. 2 running backs would go in the first round of the NFL draft next year, according to Dane Brugler. Florida's Jaden Baugh, first one off the board at 22. Missouri's Ahmad Hardy, 29 to Baltimore, which would be a very interesting pick to complement Derrick Henry or maybe replace the older Derrick Henry. 2 Indiana receivers, Charlie B. from Nashville, Tennessee. Father Ryan's own, Charlie Becker, 11th. And Nick Marsh, that is a name to know in college football this year. Nick Marsh, the Michigan State transfer at wide receiver, big, long dude at wideout, who is going to be the go-to guy for Josh Hoover, the quarterback of the Indiana Hoosiers going forward into this season.
Transfer?
From TCU. Frog. Nick Marsh is the one who showed up with gold cleats the first day of spring ball, and Kurt Cincinnati was like, hey, man, the heck we doing? We're not going to do that here. So don't let that overshadow the fact that he's really good at wide receiver. C.J. Carr, the quarterback from Notre Dame. Jaden Mayava, the quarterback from USC, would be the other first-round quarterbacks a year away from the NFL draft, according to Dane Brugler.
I heard, it was 2 pros and a couple, Joe. Brady Quinn yesterday morning, because they was doing this as well, talking about the early draft next year in quarterback world everybody's going to live in. He jumped out there and said, I don't care anything about this quarterback class if it's not C.J. Carr that's leading the way. He wasn't dissing like Arch Manning, but he just said, no, C.J. Carr is him.
It's legit.
And there's no other way around it. So seeing him actually go 15 to the Jets is fascinating because he thought very high of him, like top 5 pick. And he may end up, this is way too early side of it as well.
Yeah.
But he was so huge on C.J. Carr.
There were so many contenders last season in college football. And again, I like looking at way too early mock drafts from the college football perspective, more so than from the NFL draft perspective. Hey, who's back? Who's on the radar of scouts and people like Dane Brugler who know what they're doing within all of this. But it felt like last season there were so many contenders who had major question marks at quarterback. And that included Alabama with Ty Simpson. That included an Oregon team that was throwing Dante Moore into the mix. True. Julian Sayin taking over for Ohio State. A lot of teams that had question marks, ended up being the best teams at the end of the day. Fernando Mendoza being included within that. As someone that was a question mark at Indiana, well, those guys ended up having more success than Garrett Nussmeier, who was back at LSU, Cade Klubnik, who was back at Clemson, and Drew Aller, who was back at Penn State. Yeah. None of those teams factored into the championship discussion. This year, do the returners have more success? C.J. Carr at Notre Dame, now without his 2-headed monster at running back, and Jadarian Price and obviously Jeremiah Love. You're looking at
Lenore Sellers.
Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. Dante, and that's not a contender, but that's a high prospect.
Yup.
But Dante Moore at Oregon is back. Julian Sayin at Ohio State is back.
The Florida transfer, what was his name?
Aaron Philo.
No.
But that's not a contender
at
either.
Baylor. He left Florida this past year.
Oh, DJ Lagway.
DJ Lagway. Like, does DJ Lagway take the step?
Well, that's a new guy in a new place. I'm talking about guys coming back to their
returners.
Returners.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You've got a lot more returners on teams that I feel like are going to have more success this year, building off of what happened last year.
It's just kind of rare.
It's just so rare now that quarterbacks get 2 years with the same play caller. As much coach movement as there is and how hot coordinator hires are now, because it's easier sometimes to just say, hey, we'll give our coach a new staff and a new roster, then we'll just fire the coach and then have to do a new staff and a new roster. And then also the player movement era that we're in. It's just hard to have a quarterback have the same play caller for multiple years.
I don't want to be old guy, yelling at the sky type stuff, but it is one thing that breaks my heart about the college game, though, is like you can't track your guys anymore. And like if to your point about same offense consecutive years in a row, like Arch Manning or CJ Carr, you have the expectation they're going to get better. Like I have lower expectations that players are going to go to newer schools and do better. You know what I'm saying? Like mentioning the DJ Lagway conversation, like,
and that's not a contender.
No,
I'm talking about teams like in the top of the playoff mix.
For sure. I'm just looking at it from a draft and prospect perspective.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to say this guy is going to be better because he moves schools.
And I think DJ Lagway played himself out of the first round quarterback discussion
conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely
tough, man.
Coming up, a tough decision for Mark Pope in Kentucky basketball again. And old friend Alex Golish calling out Alabama a little bit. We'll talk about that coming up next. Wrapping up hour number one on this Thursday. Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. Our good friend Stephen Godfrey made me laugh yesterday in something he tweeted. He does that from time to time. At 38 Godfrey on Twitter. PhantomIsland.show, Yahoo Sports, Who Killed College Football. He quote tweeted this audio we're about to play and said, "I really like Auburn's head coach. Please help."
He doesn't want to like that at all.
There was that big golf tournament yesterday in Birmingham where all the Alabama adjacent coaches, both present and past at times, go tee it up, go play golf, hang out, do press conferences, maybe drop some nuggets, maybe drop some quotes that make the rounds. It was Alex Golish's turn to make some headlines from the golf course when asked about Auburn's recent failures against Alabama. This is Auburn head coach Alex Golish.
Coach, you haven't had a lot of success against Bama. I think it's 6 in a row now. And you came in, I think you're playing some music now, whether it's Dixieland Delight or whatever it is. Why is it so important for you to kind of make Bama in the forefront in your campaign and practice?
Yeah, I don't know the statement. You said I haven't had a lot of success against Bama? Or you're saying Auburn?
The program.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't super care about what the success has been or hasn't been, to be totally honest with you. This team hasn't played Bama, and we'll be prepared to go play Week 12 when it's time to go play. In terms of the music, we've put an emphasis on what that game is, and we're going to continue to put an emphasis on it. It's the greatest rivalry in college football, and it's important to our fan base. It's important to our alums. It's important to me. It's not any more important today than the other 11, but it's going to be a constant reminder at Auburn, as long as I'm here, that last week of the year is a critical week for the people of our fan base, the people of our state. And I haven't played Bama as the Auburn head coach, so.
Alex Golish speaking yesterday.
Yeah, there you go, Alex.
So what do you mean you haven't had success against Bama? I just got here.
Yeah, didn't he play them tight a couple of years ago as well? That was the benching of Jalen Milroe.
That's
if
right.
I'm not mistaken.
At USF.
USF. He played them tight a couple years. They got rolled last year.
Twice, actually.
Yeah.
Both in Tuscaloosa and in Tampa randomly when Alabama visited Tampa to play USF.
Must have been Cruton down there. Had to have been Cruton.
I think it was a monsoon, too.
Yes, it was.
No, it was a nasty game.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has beat him with the Vols. There's that for him as well.
2022.
He did. He was a part of that. So he's right. I like this for him. Like Alabama right now is not in a fragile or soft spot at all because they're still crushing. They're still the Tide. Either way you want to look at it.
Oh, I think things are pretty fragile down there, though, with the fans and the pressure on Kalen DeBoer.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, that's what I was going to. Like, he's applying pressure to Kalen DeBoer. He's applying pressure to the rivalry of it all. And I don't think Alex Golish gets tight at all.
No, I think he's made of the right stuff to be a good head coach.
Not to saying he's going to beat him, because talent is what talent is. But he's a fiery coach that's going to have his team in a real good place, I feel like.
Well, have you seen the way they're recruiting recently as well?
Auburn?
Yeah.
They're actually recruiting this time?
I mean, they've had good high school classes even under Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
They've just not really put it all together. But, right now they only have 4 commitments, but they're all good.
Yeah.
For the 2027 cycle.
I think the
Number
last
50 player in the country, Myson Johnson Cook, the big name there.
Okay. Myson. That's unique. Last thing Kalen DeBoer needs, though, is a loud, boisterous guy inside of his state. That rivalry, like the recruits that Bama wins because of the brand. And here's the thing, Auburn's not a slight brand either. They are a heavy brand. They just got to be coached right. Like, they've won national championships as of late, or at least one more recently than the Vols have. They're a good squad. They got a lot of history, and they got a lot of, Pella money down there as well. Which money is theirs?
Yellowwood.
I knew it was one of those.
Yellowwood used to be Under Armour, and now they're a Nike school, too.
They are?
Yeah, have been for a year.
Yeah, they have been. Under Armour was just so rich during the Cam Newton era, though. But with that being said, I believe Alex Golish. If he don't get him this year, he'll get him soon.
Kentucky basketball and Mark Pope took another L this week as number 1 overall recruit Tyron Stokes committed to Kansas. 6'7", 5-star plus forward. I don't know why we have to do 5-star plus. Is 5-star not enough? Small forward out of Rainier Beach, Washington, chose Bill Self and the Jayhawks over Kentucky. He was originally from Louisville. Kansas's fifth commitment in the 2026 class. Mark Pope is having a rough offseason, and there are now rumblings that they're going to make him hire a general manager. Like, guys, like the ship's kind of sailed on getting a GM to put this class together. It is the end of April. And for Kentucky, things are not looking great heading into the next season.
When they start bringing in people to support you or to change roles around, that's usually a beginning of the end. I think we're witnessing it right now at Memphis with Penny. 2 years ago, they end up changing a lot of stuff around. I think Penny's going through more changes this year. Like, it's a matter of buyout time is the way I look at these type of situations.
So I want to go, 247 Sports does this, where they do the top classes in the country coming in recruiting. I want to look at the overall rank for Kentucky in recruiting. Composite team rankings. Where do you think Kentucky ranks in 247's overall team recruiting rankings? I want all of you to guess on this.
I go 15.
Justin, where do you think Kentucky basketball's recruiting class ranks for 2026?
12.
Zach, you got a guess back there?
I'm going to say even lower. I'm going to go in the 30.
You are all way too high.
What you mean?
247 Sports has Kentucky 90th in high school recruiting. There's one commitment that is ranked.
Could be my team.
Within this.
No, could not.
Mason Williams from Millington, Tennessee, actually. Shout
Shout out to West Tennessee. Millington.
Yeah. Austin P is ranked 50th in terms of best classes. Let's go,
sir.
P.
Absolutely.
Yep. The fly is open. You not know that story?
No.
Yes, but it's funny every time it's been said.
That was from James Fly Williams from the 70s.
Okay, I had no idea.
The fly is open.
The fly is
Fast
open.
to the fly. Fly is open. Let's go, P.
I'm messing with it.
That's right.
Kentucky basketball. Their fans going to have to make a decision on one of their own blue bloods, man.
I mean, there is infinitely more momentum around Will Stein and Kentucky football right now than there is basketball.
Who got a nice
and Nick
commit
Mingione and
yesterday.
Kentucky baseball. Like,
It's wild.
right now, that they are in third out of the big three men's sports. I mean, heck, Coach Brooks and women's basketball.
It's very true.
Solid.
Solid squad. Real good season this year.
Men's basketball is taking a back seat.
So they're the opposite of what the Lady Vols have dealt with last year, huh? As far as tradition being bad now?
I think there are a lot of similarities in the struggles that Mark Pope and Kentucky men's basketball have had, and some of the struggles I think this year that maybe Kim Caldwell and Lady Vols basketball have.
Tough.
Really interesting times up there in the Bluegrass.
They beat
State.
the Vols twice, though. So
Sure did. But a program of that caliber used to celebrate actual championships, not just beating their rival a couple times. How the turntables. 615-737-1045. Coming up, a big contract extension in the AFC South. Is that a do-over you do for the Titans, keeping Aziz Al-Shaair at linebacker now that he's got a new deal from Houston? We'll talk about it coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. you had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
7:03, good morning live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. NFL news yesterday, the Texans and linebacker Aziz Al-Shaair agreed to a 3-year, $54 million deal per Mike Garafolo. Al-Shaair gets a top 10 contract in the linebacker market and a deal done ahead of what would have been a contract year. In Tennessee Hoops news yesterday, the Vols will host Michigan State in the 2026-27 season. Head coach Rick Barnes said last night in Nashville at the Big Orange Caravan, the Vols and Spartans have not played since the 2010 Elite Eight outside of secret scrimmages and a charity exhibition. In the NBA playoffs last night, Paolo Banchero for the Magic and Cade Cunningham for the Pistons dueled it out as they each had 45 points on the night, but the Pistons forced Game 6 and beat the Magic 116-109. The Cavaliers took a 3-2 series lead over the Raptors after winning 125-120, and in the nightcap, the Rockets have now won 2 straight and forced Game 6 after beating the Lakers 99-93. NHL playoffs, the Canadiens took a 3-2 series lead after beating the Lightning 3-2. The Flyers took Game 6 and the series after beating the Penguins 1-0 in overtime as they move on to round 2. And the Golden Knights win again in overtime 5-4 over the Utah Mammoth. They take a 3-2 series lead. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven a.m., hour number 2, getting started on your Friday. Junior Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. On Twitter, at Ramon and Will. Which Tennessee coach is under the most pressure in the upcoming year? You can vote on that poll at Ramon and Will, or let your thoughts be heard at 615-737-1045. We'll talk a little Vols coming up. Here in 15 minutes, you'll hear from Josh Heupel yesterday on 3HL, talking about the Tennessee quarterback battle. I also love the back and forth that Josh Heupel and Ron Saleh have developed.
Hilarious.
Just the fact that he gets on Saleh, it's like, no, we only got about 2-3 minutes for you. Yeah, you're all right. And then Heupel sits down and he's like, where's the third wheel?
Yeah.
Talking about, like, where's Don? Where's the third wheel? And then calls the Boom Boom Room soft. Just a lot of good content coming out of yesterday's Big Orange Caravan. And a tip of the cap, as always, to 3HL, who did a great job.
They did an awesome job. Well, they got the best out of all of them that sat down. And Kim Caldwell gave.
I thought she was terrific. Terrific.
Savage called me afterwards and was like, she hit it head on. Like,
she did not shy away from questions about what went wrong this year.
It wasn't a home run. Like, I don't want to put it that way, like she was prepped for it.
I'd say it a home run.
It was, but like she took it like. She put her face in the fan on that one with Savage, and Savage found a way to ask it.
It makes me comfortable in assuming that she's had some pretty difficult conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah.
If she's willing to have those difficult conversations on the record as well.
She to everybody who's want to know what the conversation kind of was, it was he asked her about, how did you navigate the last 3 years, basically, the last 2 years. She was like, well, year one, we overachieved and we did everything that, I thought we could do, and we did. It was Sweet 16. She was like, in year two, it's like she shot big. She went for all home runs.
Swung for the fences and swung and missed.
And she said, she was just like, she got away from it. It was fascinating because she said, in her conversation about the recruits that she was going after. Like, yeah, she had Lazo, Sparta, and Savage gave me a little background on him too. Like, he's a bulldog with recruiting. Like, he goes and get it. And she went and got all the girls of her dreams for the team. And in her conversation with Savage and 3HL, she pretty much said she asked the girls this time around, can you be successful in this offense? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yep.
Every single one of the girls are shooting high 30%, which is good. It's from the 3-point line as well. So the girls that she got playing for her now may be a step lower as far as ratings and talent go, but like what she needs for this offense and how it's supposed to go, man, she crushed it as far as going to get the girls that she feel like can make her system work. And she admitted she got away from the system to try to get better and go hit a home run in 2025 last year.
Sure.
She took it face on, man. I got to give her credit on that one.
We'll talk about it more coming up here in about 15 minutes. But yesterday, Aziz Al-Shaair, former Titans linebacker, signed a 3-year, $54 million extension with the Houston Texans. Another big move for Houston, who signed Will Anderson to a 3-year, $150 million contract recently, making him the highest paid non-quarterback ever. If you had a redo, would you try harder if you're the Titans to keep Aziz Al-Shaair here versus letting him join the Houston Texans?
I think you would. Absolutely, you would. And anybody saying no, I think is flagrant. And he was productive here in Nashville as well. How it unfolded, he did not get retained here is a conversation I'm sure that can be held privately somewhere. But Aziz is a real good player in this league, and I think he's good for the league as well.
Part of the number one ranked defense in terms of yards per game last season in Houston. The Texans, 17.4 points per game allowed. The number 2 scoring defense as well. And there were times where Aziz Al-Shaair was calling the plays. when offenses were in tempo and in hurry-up mode. In the last, let's say, 3 seasons, if you had a redo button you could hit for the Titans, what's a move that you would redo?
Ooh.
This one's got to be up there, right?
I think in hindsight, I'd have taken the compensation for Tavondre instead of taking Tavondre.
So what you're referring to is the Rams trade that they reportedly offered the Titans that would have given them a future second-round pick so they could move up to get Braden Fisk that instead was used by the Titans to draft Tavondre Sweat. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, probably that one, just looking at it. You didn't net a whole lot from him while he was here. The assumption was he was going to be the ultimate pro, and I feel like when Rand left, you missed a good portion of that from him. I was very interested, too. I see your light, Hawk, real quick, but I was very interested if he was still here. What does his body look like if he was going to go train with Jeff? We don't get a chance to see it right now.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I mean, is Jeffrey Simmons the type of leader and the type of player that could have gotten Tavondre Sweat in the right kind of shape?
Yeah.
To maximize his potential. And is that even something that mattered enough to this team in defense, considering the scheme change?
Yeah.
To a 4-3 and the lack of need for a nose tackle anymore.
I still want to see it. They got to play the Jets this year. With he and Jarvis Brownlee. I still want to see it. Did he, go get in shape the way coaches want him to? Being a big guy, man, is there's always going to be a question until you make a drastic change. Like even JC, I think, still had questions last year, even though it was his growing and stuff. But that is always going to be a question for a guy like him because you know why? People want to see Tavondre be successful. His hiccups that he have as far as not getting into shape, proves a lot of people wrong, and everybody want to be right about Tavondre.
Well, it's just funny, too, how nationally folks will still be so enamored with the overall talent level.
Yeah.
And the overall skill. And, I mean, at the end of the day, the floor is still pretty low with Tavondre Sweat, despite the fact that every now and then the ceiling is really high, too.
Daquan, are you, and F&M YouTube, F&M Bank chat, he says letting Derek walk for nothing. Are you saying they should have?
That's mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Over the L'Jarius Sneed trade?
Well, just initially because you in the same offseason, you let Derrick Henry walk and you get Tony Pollard for basically the same price.
Would Derek be much better than Tony Pollard here behind that offensive line?
I think it'd be relatively similar because he still got 1,000 yards each season behind good or bad offensive lines. Derrick Henry gets his own yards because of who he is. I think Tony Pollard needs a little bit extra help to get there because he's barely reaching that 1,000-mark threshold where Derrick is almost crushing it despite having a poor offense. I mean, he had a worse offensive line than the Titans did last season and still got almost 1,200 yards or 13.
The Ravens?
No,
I'm
talking
talking
about in the Titans uniform.
Also, he's saying the Titans uniform.
I'm just saying, as a member of the Titans, Derek did more with less, I feel like, in his last season before moving on to the Ravens. And in that offseason, they both signed relatively the same contract, if I'm not mistaken. So I would much rather just, in my personal opinion, keep Derek because of what he provides to you. Now, of course, then he goes to the Ravens and has 1,900. He's 80 yards short of 2,000 again.
Yeah.
80 yards short of 2,000.
In 24, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. If you want to make the argument that letting Derek walk was the wrong decision, I'm okay with that, but only if you're making the argument saying you should have traded him. Because that is more the thing for me, is that you should have gotten something out of him. And I said that during that trade deadline.
100%.
I was on the record then in 23 that go get something for Derrick Henry.
Well, Derek confirmed that.
Yeah.
The trade was ready.
Yeah.
I don't know who vetoed it, but Derek acknowledged on Busting with the Boys that the trade was essentially done.
Yeah.
With the Ravens, wasn't it?
I think it was with the Ravens.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
He's going to get like a third or fourth round pick
around that.
Yeah.
The other one, obviously, is no question, is A.J. Brown trade.
Well, and that's not the last 3 seasons. I'm talking about
did you say
just
last 3 seasons?
Yeah,
last 3.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's L'Jarius Sneed trade. It's got to be. It's got to be.
But in the moment, that one felt right.
Well, but in the moment, so did letting Derrick Henry walk to a lot of us.
So we are viewing this in hindsight.
I was 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're in hindsight. Okay, that's a fair
I mean, even in the moment, Aziz Al-Shaair walking wasn't the end of the world.
Right. In the moment, it wasn't. And you remember the Derek conversation, though, too.
Yeah, it was like, we can finally have a guy that's going to be in on third downs.
Yeah.
We can finally be unpredictable and know who we have in the backfield We don't know whether or not we're running or throwing on any given down.
And Derek still goes through that, though, too. I think Derek has a silver bullet with Lamar Jackson back there with him, though, too. Like, and I'm not to take credit away from Derek. I think Derek at this point has kind of solidified a stronger conversation for Hall of Fame. I do think that because he's yet to slow down, and that offense is very productive for him.
I'd be going ahead getting fitted for that gold jacket now for him.
Yeah.
I mean, and so much you see in so many sports. When a player can replicate his success in a new system and a new jersey and a new setting, that is such a boost to their Hall of Fame chances.
It is.
Like, that's what really hurt Eddie George, was leaving the Titans and going to Dallas.
Oh, dude.
He wasn't the same guy there. That's where Derek has really cemented himself as a Hall of Famer. I think his 1,900-yard season in 2024 was kind of all it took, to be quite honest with you.
No doubt.
Because now he's moving forward into some rarefied air in terms of career rushing touchdowns and career rushing.
And got an extension.
He's got 122 career rushing touchdowns at this point.
Yeah, that's killing it. But here's the thing, though, too, and to trying to make some sense of that move, if you will, it was on the running back timeline. Like, okay, this is where it starts to go downhill. And I got to give a lot of credit to Derek. Derek said, not me. I'm not the rest of these running backs. I still got it in the tank. But if you look at the way front offices view the position, which we talked about with Jeremiah Love at a crazy rate this pre-draft, when you look at that, you look at the hits that he take, the amount of workload that he had here, you thought that it was about to go down. Anybody that can confidently say, but not Derek at that time, I think is somewhat lying to themselves or just a big fan of Derek himself.
Yeah.
Usually at that time, it starts to go downhill, and Derek has fought it. Derek has become damn near LeBron James about it.
He's a little different.
He's a little different. No, he's a lot of
wild
different.
workout routine that he does. Talking about getting Tavondre Sweat in shape. That'll do it.
The grinding work, it pays off.
What would happen if you put Tavondre Sweat on the hill that Derek runs in Florida?
God.
Die.
Here.
Pray for the hill.
Pray for the hill.
Big old
By the
boulder
way,
falling
respectfully.
down.
I saw my guy. We'll have to have him on during the summertime. Mike Orr yesterday.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, I did. So I'm up the
Nice.
list. Also, end up seeing King Dunlap. Both of them over.
Nashville's own King
They
Dunlap.
were, and both of them now. Mike is in Nashville. He held to
Auburn
this
Tiger.
point.
That's right.
And Ole Miss Rebel. But he was training some young offensive linemen yesterday, and I'm watching Lou bear crawls on the ground like lower. It turned into me rapping with Mike real quick. Like, what up, Mike? We talking. I had Miles with me. My youngest was going to play O-line, too. And then I started showing Mike drills. He's like, I'm taking that one.
Were y'all like in earshot of people that were still working out?
Yeah,
There's
we were.
nothing worse when you're in the middle of a tough workout, when your coach starts like slacking or just goofing off. You're like, hey, man, you're taking my soul from me right now, and you're just hanging out drinking coffee.
That's exactly.
What the heck?
He had him doing
Just
bear
having fun with it
crawls.
now.
I remember our coach in college, like, would show up and drink coffee. And we're out there. We would have to get, because again, like 6 a.m. practices. If you get there at 6, you're late. You got to be there at 5:40 or 5:35. We're getting there, and coach is drinking coffee. Like, yeah, coffee's for coaches.
Yeah.
Sitting there like, man, that must be nice.
Love to have
I'd love to have a
leisure
cup of that
time.
right now. 5:30 in the morning when we had to drive off campus for practice at a park off campus, which means you got to wake up at 5.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny about it? It turned into a conversation to both of us doing drills and showing each other, like, I'm going to utilize this one. You can take this one if you want to. Like, we got old head real quick, man.
Coming up, which Tennessee coach is under the most pressure next season? Between Josh Heupel, Rick Barnes, and Kim Caldwell. Bucket hit us up on Twitter and said, whoever put Barnes on this list needs to touch grass or burn some.
Ooh.
I'm here to tell you why you could absolutely consider Rick Barnes as having the most pressure. Coming up next. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2 on this Thursday morning. 615-737-1045. Which Tennessee coach is under the most pressure in 2026? Josh Heupel? Rick Barnes? Kim Caldwell? I thought all of them were terrific from what we heard yesterday, throwing Danny White in there as well.
Yeah.
At the Big Orange Caravan on 3HL. Josh Heupel was asked about the Tennessee quarterback competition, of course, right off the top by Brent Doherty. This is what the head coach had to say yesterday here on our airwaves.
I thought he's handled himself extremely well for a true freshman.
That's on face on Brent.
Took really good care of the football.
That's okay. We'll get to the next one.
Handled the
No, it's fine. Just keep going.
well. Midpoint of spring ball, introduced crowd noise like you're on the road, and that first day there's a lot going on for him with shift, trade, motion, and everything else. But he responded day 2 really well off of that. So he did a really good job, and all 3 did.
That was the question from Brent Doherty on, is Faison Brandon ahead of where you thought he'd be at this point? This was his other answer right off the top about quarterbacks.
You look at young guys that haven't played a lot of football, learning. George had a year of offense underneath him. The other 2 guys are brand new to it. Just learning the offense, being able to call it, communicate, and get yourself in the right position as far as your reading progression and body position. I thought they did a really good job. They grew during spring ball, and there were some bad plays. Not a lot of them. There were a few of them. They did a good job taking care of the football, but they responded in a good way. And when they didn't have their best day, man, they came back and competed really well the next day. So a lot of growth. There's a lot left. And they've done a good job since spring ball, continuing to grow. And this summer is going to be critical.
Josh Heupel on 3HL yesterday. Any hints, Ramon, you hear there? Any nuggets that are of interest to you, or Heupel just playing the company line well?
He's such a good liar. He just is. He gives you an answer and don't tell you a thing. I got nothing from that other than the fact that those guys are working. And that's how it should be. He's respecting the process when it boils down to how he want to treat these guys as fair as possible. There's no such thing really as fairness in sports, but with this one, he's treating it very touch and go. Because I think that's the other side of it, though, too. These guys are so young and I think still fragile. And one, how successful they've been up to this point, but getting to college, you don't want to have them shatter their dreams or feel, honestly, disinterested in the competition in general. So it was fair to me. He gave both of them praise, and then he also mentioned all 3. I don't think he got a third answer from what's the last quarterback name?
Ryan Staub.
He
just kept mentioning, all 3 guys.
And Ryan Staub might end up helping the Vols this year. He might end up helping us, man. So you just never know how the season really unfolds.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he played meaningful snaps,
no doubt,
barring injury. But there's always a world where somebody gets hurt. You got to throw somebody in with experience into the Lions' Den, and you got to be careful with what you ask Faison Brandon to do, I think, specifically. Right. If you're in a road environment in the SEC, and let's say George McIntyre's a starter and he gets hurt, are you really giving Faison Brandon his first reps in, insert SEC road environment here, in College Station? You giving him his first reps in Columbia, South Carolina? Probably not. So, yeah, I think that's where maybe Ryan Staub could have an interesting role. And maybe Faison Brandon's close enough to George McIntyre when it's all said and done that those 2 are interchangeable in the heat of the moment. But all 3 guys have got to be ready to play.
Yeah.
And I liked what Josh Heupel said, too, in talking with Slay and Brent yesterday about how, they've had 5 quarterbacks in 6 years. And this is a question that Heupel's had to answer every year. And when has he really totally disappointed us, Ramon, in the way those quarterbacks have played? Joe Milton wasn't perfect. Obviously, no one's really been perfect other than maybe Hendon Hooker for a lot of his 2022 season. But this is a question that Josh Heupel commonly has to answer. And just because that this time you're having to find someone with little to no experience out of this battle doesn't mean that it's uncharted waters for Josh Heupel. He's been through this plenty of times.
Who do you blame for It's going to sound wild to say this. I'm just trying to set up something. Who do you blame for Josh Heupel's pressure? Him or us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's appropriate.
I think there's just pressure for whoever is on the sideline in Knoxville, obviously on one hand, but
yeah,
with the season that Tennessee is coming off of and with the changes that they've made, there comes a certain pressure and expectation when you hire Jim Knowles.
It does.
When you hire one of the most expensive strength coaches in college football, when you spend what Tennessee has in the transfer portal again and put yourself back in the mix. It just feels like Tennessee's entering an era, Ramon, where considering how many teams make the college football playoff, the expectation is going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, now that there's no SEC East to compete for anymore, always be in the hunt for a berth to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Is that a fair expectation for Tennessee football?
Yes, it is. Unrealistic or not, it is. The resources that are being poured into the football program is immense. Like when you look at how they recruit, how they hit the portal, the coaching changes, the facilities. And the other part, though, too, for me, when I bring up the pressure side of it is they're constantly asking for money or renovations or changes. Like, I know a lot of this fan base unfairly have been going at Danny White about, hey, you're spending too much money on this, and this, and the price. There's a talent fee now on tickets. There's, beer sales. You get two, like, they got to run specials on those in stadium. Like, it's expensive to go, and specifically for football. And that's where I also say, like, the fan side of it, the pressure. Like, I know a lot of people this past season that was going back and forth to the games like I was like, I'm not spending no more money to watch bad football or watch you lose or not beat this guy and everything else that goes into it. That's why I added the fan side of it. Like, it comes with the territory, being a Vols fan in general, because we're chaotic. I can admit that. But I think most SEC schools are. Auburn's the exact same way. Alabama, who call the Paul Feinbaum every single day, they're the exact same way. So
LSU fans, I mean, like it. Yeah, we're not alone in our chaos.
No, we're not alone in it. But I do look at the Vols situation and kind of saying, like, I think Bama gets grace, Georgia does, Florida because they won national championships more recent than we have, right? When you look at it, but the Vols got to find themselves out of that high second tier. And that's where Josh Heupel's pressure, to me, of the poll that you asked, Rick Barnes is nowhere on this one to me. I think lightly, in my personal opinion, he is, but Rick Barnes not on there. Football, to me, is always going to be king when it comes down to how quickly you'll make a change. And that's why I think the pressure comes for Josh Heupel, considering who you lost to last year, how you lost to him, and the expectations coming into it. The only grace he gets to me this year, I ain't going to say the only grace, freshman quarterbacks.
Right, but he's the one that chose to go with the freshman quarterbacks.
He didn't want to.
Okay.
Brendan Swordsby.
Does that matter?
Yeah, if you got a budget that you're not willing to spend.
Because you could have gone and gotten experience if you really wanted experience. He made it. I mean, the guy that's going over to Virginia instead of Tennessee from Missouri, Bo Pribula. I believe if you really wanted to close Bo Pribula while he was on campus, you could have had Bo Pribula. They chose instead to ride with who they had. That was his decision.
That's true. I
don't think there is any grace given, in my opinion, to a young quarterback being the starter because they chose to start the young quarterback.
Well, Sarkisian gave Arch just grace, though.
Yeah. And his pressure meter is up, too.
Yeah.
But they also went and got Cam Coleman, and they have Colin Simmons, and they've got more for Arch Manning this season, but there's a ton of pressure on Steve Sarkisian because he rode with the young guy.
I'm just speaking about just a young quarterback. I know there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got to perform in Texas. My question was the grace of the quarterback. Sarkisian gave Arch grace, and I feel like their fan base didn't, and eventually you saw the better part. That's what you're hoping for, either Faison or George, is eventually it clicks. I don't know which one it's going to be at this point, but eventually you want to see it click.
I think it's interesting how you can make an argument for any of the three coaches, Josh Heupel, Rick Barnes, or Kim Caldwell, having the most pressure on them because they're all three under pressure to do very different things. Kim Caldwell is under pressure to keep her job moving forward into this season and to put together a totally new roster. And the question becomes, is she given grace? Because the fact that she had to put together an entirely new team. I tend to think, again, it's kind of the same thing. Like, that's kind of on you. This is Lady Vols basketball. This is the one of the two best programs to ever exist in this sport. I think for Rick Barnes, I think you can make an argument he's under the most pressure because he's the one with national championship expectations moving forward into 26 and 27. Mike Wilson's going to join us at 9:20 this morning. If Tennessee lands Juke Harris, the top player left to the portal, one of the top players in the whole portal for the whole cycle, you're looking at a team that's probably preseason going to be top 5 in the country.
Yeah.
There are national championship aspirations, like legitimate, not just talking into a microphone saying we're going to try to go chase the national title. No, like Tennessee can go win the national championship in men's basketball if they get Juke Harris next season. That's a different level of pressure.
Do you know the difference? Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, and then for Josh Heupel, the pressure is to take a step. Take a step and get back into contention for the college football playoff and show us that you made the right bold decisions in letting go of Tim Banks and revamping your defensive staff.
The difference, I think, in the 3, because you're right, there's a lot of changes. Josh got a new DC, a lot of new players in the portal. When you look at Kim Caldwell is the exact same way, and Rick as well. The difference between the 3 is, to me, I trust Rick more. I trust Rick to win those big games. And his low years, they still make to Sweet 16. They still go to the Elite 8. Like in years where you know the talent separation between he and Michigan or him and Houston or him and Kansas or North Carolina, it's just different. This is the 1 year Rick Barnes has gone out and gotten that one type of like talent. Like he said it publicly, like, yeah, we didn't go for development this time around. Like, if they do get Juke Harris, they went for production.
Mm-hmm.
And that production has numbers behind it. They all mostly play defense already to a T, from the Belmont guard all the way up to if they get Juke Harris. He's got an elite squad, and I trust him more to be able to handle this. Kim's got a real big readjustment to go through this year. And I think Heupel does as well, going with the true freshman or redshirt freshman this year with the new defensive coordinator. I trust him more. It's the only way I don't even know what Rick Barnes' percentages is on our poll, but it needs to be a 0.
4.
It's 4%.
4%.
Who are you people?
No, but I think you can make the argument.
It's fair.
Because what is the pressure to do? The pressure is to win a national title. Like if Tennessee was to,
I mean,
to get to a Final Four.
Rick's, I feel like next stance for him is Final Four.
Tennessee fans on social media, and again, it's social media, put a ton of pressure on Rick Barnes. A ton. And I think sometimes have unrealistic expectations because we in the South, just as a rule, we treat basketball the way that we treat football. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Great teams lose. Championship teams lose games by 20 throughout a season, but we watch these games like we're football fans, and the sky is falling after one loss. It's just not the way that things are supposed to be done. So that's why I think that some people will heap a football amount of pressure on Rick Barnes. The reason I think it's Josh Heupel for this answer is Josh Heupel goes first.
This is so true.
And Josh Heupel, I think, will set the tone for just the overall morale of Tennessee fans going forward into the 2026 and 2027 athletic season. You just kind of set the temperature a little bit when you're Tennessee football. And while, yes, Kim Caldwell is under the most pressure just logically to keep their job among these 3 coaches, there's a different amount of pressure and there are different amounts of eyeballs on Tennessee football. And Tennessee's kind of been doing this thing where they go playoff contention year, down year. Playoff contention year, down year. Well, it's time for a playoff contention year in the even years. And would you look at that? You're starting a new quarterback that's never started a game in their college football lives.
You brought up the biggest point to me.
It's going first, and it's the fact that you're the quarterback guy. And what's the biggest question mark on your football team? Quarterback.
The going first part, that absolutely wrecks you. It sets up recruiting for all the other secondary sports too.
And too, I've talked to friends about this, and I know so many of you feel this way. As much as we love basketball and baseball, it's still the SEC. There are so many people, Ramon, who would trade the Tennessee Baseball National Championship just to go to the Final Four of the college football playoff.
I agree.
Or even just to make the SEC championship game. I will raise my hand and say I'm not one of those people because I love Tennessee baseball and I always have. And I like the other sports. I like being good at everything. And Tennessee is good at everything. What are you going to be great in? What are you going to be great in if you're Tennessee? Right now, you're the everything school, but you're the good at everything school. How do you become great at everything? Because a couple years ago, you were. When you were competing for the SEC title in men's basketball, adult and connect. You're in the college football playoff with football. You're back in the Sweet 16 with Lady Vol basketball. You're winning the national title for baseball. Those days didn't happen this past year. There's pressure on all these coaches in different ways. That's, I think, what is so fascinating. As you've got an entertainment district going up, which gets mixed reviews on social media, which I think is a bit harsh sometimes because I tend to like it. And as you have a lot of different expectations, a lot of different dynamics going on campus, everyone is under pressure entering 2026. We haven't even touched on Josh Elander because kind of hard to judge him right now because his season's not over yet. 615-737-1045. We'll go to your phones after this. Paul and Franklin will lead us off. Who's under the most pressure? Little vibe check on Knoxville for where Tennessee fans are at after this athletic season coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Y'all might need them in the summertime when it's super hot outside. You get a little dehydrated, or in the fall where you just need to gather yourself back at ground zero again, man. But Medical House Calls, they're available to you 7 days a week. Their primary focus, man, is just making sure that you can get the medical assistance that you need, whether that be from a sickness, infections, injuries as well, in-home labs that you can get done for your life insurance type of stuff. You just want to see where your health is in general. You can do testing and so much more for a flat fee. You get an evaluation, full exam treatment plans, and they can also administer prescriptions if you need them as well. Listen, this is just them bringing back the concierge to medicine. If you are super busy, the kids are in school, you can't get off of work, this is a service for you. These are real doctors that come to your house wherever you are. They come to my house in Hendersonville, whether you're in Murfreesboro, Clarksville, Ashland City, it doesn't matter. They will come to where you are to help you get back healthy. Again, the website is medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text them at 615-838-2375.
Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the first half of the show. Which Tennessee coach is under the most pressure in the upcoming season? At Ramon and Will, you got Josh Heupel, Rick Barnes, or Kim Caldwell as options. 66% of you say Kim Caldwell. 30% Josh Heupel, 4% Rick Barnes. Brian hits us up and says, we know what we have in Barnes. He'll make the tournament, but will fall in the Elite Eight. Caldwell is under pressure because of how last year happened. Heupel will be on fire if these changes in his game management don't improve. Yeah, I don't know if it's just a foregone conclusion. It's Elite Eight and out this year with this Tennessee team. This is a little bit different of a Tennessee roster that Rick Barnes has built heading into next season. I'd be careful to just put that ceiling on Tennessee for this year with the guys they're going to have on that team.
Yeah, this is just a little bit different, I would think.
They're gone after so much scoring. It's going to be a totally different kind of vibe.
What's crazy
around Tennessee hoops this year?
The scoring is a bonus. The defense is where he lay his hat at. Like, that's where Coach Barnes lays his hat.
And that's not going to change. Right.
Absolutely not. It better not change. Them dudes will be on the bench like that. What you'll see is what I think, more freedom to take the shots that you want because the defense will be there. Those dudes are going to throw the ball up. And I'm excited for it.
Let's go to Paul in Franklin next up on the phone. What's up, Paul?
Hey, good morning, fellas. It's great to be alive and be in Tennessee.
Sure is.
Yes, it is, Paul.
Let me tell you something about Coach Rick Barnes. Man, his seat is cold as ice, baby.
That's
There's
true.
icicles on his armchair. He ain't going nowhere. You can just take him off the table right quick. That 4% people that said he's on the hot seat, I don't know who they are. But I'm going to tell you what, because he's cold as ice. But let's get down to the real nuts and bolts of it, man. The late, great Reggie White made a quote one time about Knoxville, Tennessee, and all the sports that's played up there. He said they're all great, but football is the straw that stirs the drink. He said it. Football is the straw that stirs the drink. Coach Heupel is the one under always the most heat because we got all the eyeballs on there. And this year is very critical for him, Will, and that I hate to say it, but you're right. He chose to take this route with quarterbacks. And a 6-6 or 7-5 season, if we have something like that, we could be looking for a new coach. I'm telling you. And I hate to say that because I hate to start over again.
Right.
I believe to retain Heupel, we got to at least win 8 wins. And I'm not an 8-win man. I want to be a football playoff man. But this is a very critical year for Coach Heupel. Coach Caldwell up there, I'm going to be honest with you, I think she's in over her head. I'm sorry to say that. I think she's in over her head. But football is the straw that stirs the drink, baby. And Coach Heupel, as they say in the NFL draft, you're on the clock. Hey, thanks for taking my call. God bless y'all. Go Vols and tighten up.
Thank you, Paul. I just think it's going to be such an interesting case study around Heupel. And again, our question was not who's on the hot seat. The question was who's under the most pressure.
Yeah.
No one's putting Rick Barnes anywhere close to a hot seat. That will never happen on this radio program. It's just a really interesting dynamic with Tennessee football because it could be so much worse.
That's the thing.
It could be so much worse. And it has been so much worse, but it could also be better.
It could. I was just looking at something. It's going to be fascinating, this state rivalry, because here's the thing. The Vols go out and put Vandy in the corner again. The narrative and the storyline, I wonder how that's going to go too. I'm seeing the comments. I'm choosing to just, breeze by a YouTube chat and stuff often. It's going to be fascinating because I do wonder the level of sustainability. And I think every school's living and dealing with that too. The ongoing narrative for people that comment back to us is you lose to Vanderbilt twice, fired coach and you lose your aura.
Yeah, Vandy Chris on YouTube says if Josh Heupel loses to Vandy, he's getting fired. How can you possibly say that without knowing what happens in the other 11 games?
It's just it's a fascinating approach to the new era. And I say this with all due respect to Vanderbilt because, again, you guys kicked our butts in Knoxville. You guys had an amazing year. You checked every box that good football teams want to do. Now, here's the other part of it that Kalen DeBoer is learning. and numerous coaches, even Coach Heupel is learning. It's the sustainability of that level that you've created for your fan base. Because the reason I asked that question earlier, like, is it, Josh Heupel or, the fans that are putting this on them? And the answer is yes. When fans get a taste of success, that expectation becomes an every year thing. Now, I'll say this. I think Clark Lee's got Vanderbilt in a very healthy spot right now as far as football goes, and their AD as well. But sustaining it is where a lot of people fall flat on their faces. Like, we're watching Texas Tech, and I think they'll end up being fine, but Texas Tech has got to find a way to sustain it. Kalen DeBoer has got to recreate himself again this year. The ghost of Nick is real. Florida, with their new head coach, like, there's a lot that goes into being good and staying good in the SEC. And it's fun. You got a whole calendar year to live this life, Vandy fans.
And Vanderbilt is last in the SEC in returning offensive production.
But I don't want to hear
their 25-year-old quarterback this year.
I don't want to hear it in the fall. I don't want to hear it. Just know I talk on a mic, and it's unlimited words unless I get sick. I don't want to hear it.
Not for 4 hours.
I got unlimited mic. I don't want to hear it. Have your parade. I tell anybody, you do what you want when you popping. You popping and you beat the Vols. But just know.
Do it again.
I'm a worse human being on the other side. I try to be good, but I'm a terrible human being on the other side of this thing.
That in-state rivalry becoming relevant. And it's always been relevant for Vols fans that live in this area. And it was, again, I've told this before, but it was interesting to me when I moved to Knoxville, how little people talked or cared about Vanderbilt.
It's true.
Just didn't even move the needle. Like, not a rival whatsoever. There, it's more Georgia than it is Vanderbilt.
Florida, I would say.
As the next rival behind, obviously, I would say the big three.
You're right.
Which is Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, in whatever order you want to put them in. I put them in Alabama, Florida, Kentucky. Beyond that, it was Georgia.
It was Georgia.
At one point, it was South Carolina when Steve Spurrier was there.
Yeah.
And you've talked about that quite a bit. I mean,
South Carolina.
Auburn, for some generations, was a top 3 or 4 rival. And I'm talking about generations back because Tennessee used to play Auburn every year before they played Florida every year in football. And then you would get to Vandy.
Yeah.
That's changing because Vandy's been enough of a pest for Tennessee in recent seasons, and baseball is independent of this. It's always been Tennessee, Vandy, in baseball. And I would say in basketball more so, too. But in football now,
it's real.
You're starting to get the attention
it's cool.
more of people. And the way that both those programs bounce back, and Jared Curtis and Vanderbilt, if he is the starter, which I don't think is 100% guaranteed. Clark Lee doesn't want to think it's guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, right. They pay that boy millions of dollars.
I don't know.
You don't pay him millions of dollars. Not him.
Well,
Jared Curtis, to me,
I agree. I think he'll probably start right away, but they want him to go earn it.
He's the portal hole in Marvel Comics that allow other players see that they can come to Vanderbilt and play. He's a fool if he don't play Jared Curtis early.
But the narrative at this point is that, like, oh, but wait, there's this other guy. Because you want the guy to go earn it on the practice field. And that's all that
I
is.
know.
But still, interesting. The whole point is that interesting to see the way those two programs kind of bounce back.
It is. It'll be very fascinating. And then also the matchup, it'll be freshman. I think Vandy's freshman versus one of UT's redshirt freshmen or true freshmen as well going into this thing too.
Yep.
Just don't forget. Don't forget. Don't hit me with a, oh, well, we were. No, I don't want to hear none of that. I got a feeling it's going to get ugly.
615-737-1045. More headlines as we begin hour number 3. A quarterback who has the inside track to win a battle in the NFL. And speaking of Tennessee recruiting, basketball making a big move yesterday across the country to have some conversations that we'll talk about next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, we hate dealing with any of those issues, man, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, or electrical at all. Most of the time, specifically, we don't even know what it will cost you if it get fixed right or if somebody's trying to sell you something you don't need, I'm telling you this, when you reach out to Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly. It's because it's just what they do. I'll also add this to the fact, too. Usually when you reach out to them, they'll give you a date, and they usually show up a tick earlier than you asked them to, or a day earlier even sometimes, just because they want to get to you as quickly as they can, because they know your problems are urgent to you around your house. The price you're told with Hiller is actually the price that you'll pay as well. Zero hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all when you do business with them, man. They've been in business for over 35 years, and they're family owned and operated, and that goes a long way because they care about the services that they provide to you when they're family owned. The motto is, and they truly believe in it, happy you'll be, or the service is free. You've heard the jingle before, and it's true. They absolutely live by it. To learn more about Hiller, to book with them like I do, head over to happyhiller.com.
8:02. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Main Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. NFL news yesterday: the Texans and linebacker Aziz Al-Shaair agreed to a 3-year, $54 million deal per Mike Garafolo. Al-Shaair gets a top 10 contract in the linebacker market across the NFL. In Tennessee hoops news yesterday, the Vols will host Michigan State in the 2026-27 season. Head coach Rick Barr said last night in Nashville at the Big Orange Caravan, the Vols and Spartans have not played since the 2010 Elite Eight. And the NBA playoffs last night, Paolo Banchero for the Magic and Cade Cunningham for the Pistons dueled it out as they each had 45 points on the night, but the Pistons ended up in the winner's column, forcing Game 6, beating the Magic 116-109 in Game 5. The Cavaliers took a 3-2 series lead over the Raptors after winning 125-120. The Rockets in the nightcap had now won 2 straight, forcing Game 6 after beating LeBron and the Lakers 99-93. NHL playoffs last night, the Canadiens took a 3-2 series lead, beating the Lightning 3-2. The Flyers took Game 6 and the series after beating the Penguins 1-0 in overtime as they move on to round 2. And the Golden Knights win again in overtime 5-4 over the Utah Mammoth, taking a 3-2 series lead. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the second half of the show. Hour number 3 getting started on Ramon and Will. Glad you are with us. 615-737-1045 is the number. We break down the film on Keldric Faulk coming up here in 15 minutes. Mike Wilson going to stop by, talk some balls at 9:20. Your comments in the F&M chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. On Twitter, at Ramon and Will. Ramon, I'm debating on how big of an agitator I'm willing to be here.
I see.
On a tweet that I received this morning.
What you got for me, man?
Matt hit us up.
You got energy for it?
We're going to do one more thing on the Tennessee and Vandy football discussion, and then we're going to leave it.
Oh, look, real quick. We had somebody tell me in the chat, it was DeMario. DeMario's cool. It's like, man, y'all got to get a Vandy guy. I was like, I genuinely, with respect to Vanderbilt University, I don't know of a lot of Vandy people in the media. I know they have
Chris
fans.
Leon all the time.
Chris. But like, as far as like, I'm not sure if Chris wants to do a radio show or has aspirations.
We have him on all the time.
We do have Chris on.
He's on as a guest all the time.
We do, and shout out to Chris. Chris is awesome with the work that he does.
Fantastic.
Too. I think he's talking about like as a third spot on the show with somebody at the station.
Oh.
There are other fan bases here too. Zach is a known Alabama fan. Babs is Auburn for sure. Who else is Buck is Indiana?
Every show is going to bring you different perspectives on different things. I mean, like this is a Tennessee town. It's always going to be.
I know, but like for the spirit of debating, I'm looking at it just like, well, I know Vols have a long lineage of folks in the media.
Yeah, of course.
On TV and doing shows and stuff like that. I hadn't heard of that many folks here. Chris brings up George Plaster. Yeah. I didn't know he was a Vandy alum. I'm sorry about that.
Well, no, he's just a Vandy guy. I mean,
he's a Vandy guy.
Yeah.
Most of us are alums.
Well, he's George Plaster is a legend. I mean, he's everything guy. He'll talk anything.
And again, I'll say this. Shout out to Chris Lee as well.
Yeah,
he's a solid, great dude.
But Matt hit us up and says, Will conveniently forgetting UT's quarterback was older than our, quote, 25-year-old. Shocker. At Ramon Will. See, you guys always do this. You get so sensitive at the first sign of criticism, and you just leave out all the other good stuff that we just said about Vandy or the bad stuff we said about Tennessee. I'll look into the camera as I say this real quick. Joey Aguilar was older than Diego Pavia last year. Did we not just get done talking about how Josh Heupel is the coach under the most pressure on the whole campus because he chose to go with inexperience at quarterback this year over someone who's done the job before? Of course there's pressure on Tennessee replacing another old quarterback. But here's the difference. We've seen Josh Heupel make the college football playoff with a mid-quarterback named Nico Iamaleava. We've only ever seen Clark Lee have success with Diego Pavia at quarterback at Vanderbilt University. Before that, you were losing at ETSU. And I'm not throwing any shade at Clark Lee. He has done a terrific job at Vanderbilt. But you want to come at me on conveniently leaving things out just because I suggested that there's a big question mark in Vanderbilt proving it can have success without Pavi at quarterback. That's the story of the whole season for you this upcoming season. And I didn't think you're going to actually be pretty good. Because here's the thing. You've got money and resources that you never used to have or never cared enough to give to sports.
Right.
I am of the opinion on this radio show and anyone who will ask that Vandy is here to stay. Vandy is not going anywhere just because Diego Pavi is gone. So don't put words in my mouth about how I'm throwing shade and all these. I'm conveniently forgetting things. Give me a break, Matt. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I've said it so many times.
You have. I give you that.
Vanderbilt has built the infrastructure in today's day and age of athletics to have a golden era that is beginning. And every time I say it, you guys conveniently just have selective hearing. Pruitt Hearing Center can help you out. They're on Franklin Road, 61537. I could give the full number. I'll wait till the next time I have a spot. But like legitimately, you guys aren't going anywhere in basketball, in football, definitely not in women's basketball.
No.
Money has allowed Vanderbilt to do a lot of the things that Stanford was doing in its golden days in the Pac-12. And sell the degree, but also sell the paychecks of all the doctors and lawyers that are allowing you to continue to spend and compete at the highest level. I'm not taking anything away from that staff or that team. But if Clark Lee was sitting in here, I think he would agree with me that, yeah, there's a big question mark to see if Vanderbilt can do it again with a totally different model at quarterback and a guy that was playing Division II single-A football last season in the state of Tennessee and Jared Curtis. That's all it is. None of that is a dig. We can't be so sensitive that at the first sign of mentioning how old Diego Pavi was, you're just conveniently leaving things out. Oh, my. There we go. There's my soapbox.
I got to give it to you.
I'm going to step off my soapbox.
You do give credit to him more often, and you get a lot of shade for even giving credit to him. It's kind of wild the way you're viewed and how you speak about him, because I know I'm a little bit more petty about it than you are. And I don't know, maybe it's because you're from the city. I'm not sure what it is, but I will say this. Fairly Will does give a lot of credit to Vandy. Now, we do throw shade. I think all fan bases do. And here's why I am just on the whole rivalry in general. Vandy, you do what you want when you pop it. You can be as loud as you want, but there's always next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I ain't got no problem with it whatsoever. I was in Lowe's one day, and they're buying some plants with my wife, okay? We doing this little garden in the backyard. Guy who's at the register, young fella too. Hey, Mr. Foster. What about that Vandy game? This was basketball. You guys in? I was like, hey, just remember, I don't forget. I'll be back in Lowe's. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to know, I think they lost. Oh, that's what it was. They lost in the tournament early. I went back in there, and he had his hat on still. I'm like, I forget his name. Let's call him Brian. I was like, hey, Brian, couldn't be my team leaving the tournament this early. He was like, well, you know, this and this. And I'm like, no. I was like, don't well me. No, don't well me. We're still playing, or you're not. Like, this is what sports is all about, though, too. And when you win, you can have a parade for all I care. I love this. Let's just keep it clean and keep the personal stuff out of here, because you have people just dropping addresses and stuff, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So keep it clean. Keep the trash talk. I'm the worst. I'm the best trash talker. I can't wait to do it.
George did go to Vandy, by the way. 1981.
George did.
Yeah. Shout out to him. I didn't know.
Shout out to George Plaster as well.
Yeah. Well, I always know as Vandy adjacent, but yeah, there you go.
I'm here for all of this stuff.
Proud PGA, proud Vandy. George, you'll never hear any George slander. George is a legend in Nashville.
Never have.
Legend in Nashville.
No doubt about it.
Deshaun Watson has the inside track to be named quarterback one per Mary Kay Cabot.
Who had the report?
On Twitter. It was Mary Kay Cabot.
Oh.
Mary Kay Cabot's reporting that Deshaun Watson has the inside track. Don't say anything to her without crediting Mary Kay Cabot on Twitter.
Did you see what Shiloh commented under her page? I sent you the tweet in the text message. Shiloh
Sanders, Shador's brother.
He's so wrong. It's sexist almost is what he said.
Not almost. No, it's very sexist.
It's just Shiloh, okay? We didn't say this.
Because the whole take from Mary Kay Cabot at Cleveland.com was they should declare Deshaun Watson QB1 ASAP and let the first team offense start to cook. There's no time to waste, which I also disagree with, to be fair. And Shiloh said, I don't even want to read this on air, to be honest. I don't know. You want to read it?
I sent it to you because Shiloh was looking. No, don't.
Shiloh Sanders had a very aggressive response, and the Sanders family has been known to do that on social media. And I remember Deion Jr. doing that to Kevin Byard. And Deion didn't know who Kevin Byard was at one point in the height of Byard playing an all-pro level safety for the Titans.
I don't think we can say it on air. Unless if we got to think about it that long.
I don't want to dignify
I will
it.
say not what he said to her, but Shiloh's my favorite. He just doesn't care.
No,
he's a middle child to the core of him, man, and I love everything that he does these days.
Clearly doesn't. And Mary
Except
Kay
that
Cabot,
comment.
we joke. She's a good reporter. She's got a lot of equity build up in Cleveland. She just, make sure when she reports something that it's her report. That is on Twitter. But that's okay. Hey, if I was reporting stuff too, if I was breaking news, I'd probably do some of the same stuff. Yeah. Ben Solak on Twitter, ESPN writer at Benjamin Solak, says, there have been 907 seasons of at least 200 passing attempts this century. 907 seasons. Deshaun Watson's 2024 season in terms of yards per dropback ranks 902nd. He has torn his Achilles twice since then. Is that the right decision in Cleveland for Deshaun Watson to have the inside track at being the quarterback, or should it be Shedeur Sanders' show?
Got to follow the bag. It's Deshaun.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that people are surprised by this.
Yeah, Mary Kay Cabot's not wrong. He's the veteran guy in the room. Like last year looking at Dylan Gabriel, I don't want to talk bad about Shedeur because Shiloh might find me, but Shedeur
everybody, you can't say anything about Shedeur without somebody finding you.
No, Shedeur didn't have the best year. I think you see the talent there. If he learns to take small bites instead of trying to hog the entire sandwich in his mouth at the entire time, he'll be a better quarterback. He can't play like he was at Colorado. When you look at Taylor Green, I put him I think by the season start, if he gets a fair shake, he's QB2. I like Taylor for that team, for that offense.
Wow.
I do.
Interesting.
I'm blind in saying that, but I feel like he, to me, could be a very productive prospect for him if he can take care of the ball.
Sure. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, they are certainly helping out whoever the quarterback is with Casey Concepcion added to that mix and Denzel Boston at the wide receiver position, but that is a very interesting dynamic, again, moving forward into another season where you're going to be in the mix for the top quarterbacks on the board in 27. I mean, you've given that room a lot of help. Spencer Fano at tackle, KC Concepcion, Denzel Boston. You go get the more developmental tackle in Austin Barber out of Florida. Parker Brailsford could be your new center, the fifth-round pick out of Alabama. But first-time head coach in a room with, four quarterbacks that could all play this year?
Or get traded.
It's such a mess, man.
I know the conversation is, about Will Levis here in Nashville, but Cleveland does have a lot of capital as far as quarterback trades going into preseason where guys can be shipped off to other teams. Like Arizona, you know what I'm saying? It's just a situation where the Titans might have to fight if they do choose to let go of Will Levis. And that ain't a pro-Hendon Hooker conversation. I just look at it and say, Levis, I think, wants out considering the changes of ownership, well, not ownership, but coaches and stuff. It might be better suited in another city more than Hendon Hooker, for that matter.
I think now that the draft has come and gone on the Levis front, doesn't it feel like now you've got to wait until he plays some preseason games?
Yes.
In training camp?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember last season when it was Aiden O'Connell who got hurt in Vegas, didn't they go trade for Kenny Pickett after that?
Yes, they did.
I remember looking at that being like, oh, Will, that was your chance, man. It was. Chose to do the shoulder surgery. It's his decision. It's his shoulder.
Yep.
Not my shoulder.
Right.
And so that's the consequence of it. But this has been kind of the second option out of the two we've been given on Levis the whole time. If you were going to move him, you either do it at the draft where somebody meets your asking price in the moment to just go ahead and have a clean break and don't have that distraction, which how big of a distraction is it really? I mean, this is Cam Ward's football team. Or you wait and maybe have someone pay a premium because their quarterback gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Levis shows you a couple good drives in a preseason game, and all of a sudden that sixth-round pick becomes a fifth or a fourth, or a pick swap becomes just a straight-up pick that you can add without having to give something up.
I mean, and then also there's, I'm trying to find, I heard Buck and Burt. It was Burt came away with it yesterday, but Bo Nix had a follow-up surgery doing a medical recheck this week as well.
I think that's the kind of team that would make a lot of sense to be in the Levis.
That was planned, though.
it was planned.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, they knew it was coming.
Scheduled post-operative follow-up with Dr. Norman Wardrop III. Recently.
They do a lot of things to clean up, like with scar tissue and stuff.
Game me then. Tell me about it. So it's to get the. I'm joking, but I'm very serious
Way
about
over
it.
our break time.
Yeah. What is a break anymore? So what's the recheck? They open them back up and clean it out?
Yeah, a lot of times, like you'll have scar tissue buildup that'll
natural.
limit your range of motion and stuff. So you have to clean that up, and then make sure you go through like certain massages and things like that to get that broken up, so you can have full range of motion.
Oh my God.
That's why I'm not super athletic. I just got a bunch of scar tissue, probably. That's why I don't have great range of motion.
But I thought to our medical assistant,
way over here. There you go. You just got it.
To our medical assistant here, I thought like the scar tissue was meant to pop and make it normal, Hawk. Like, I feel like most trainers will tell you, you probably feel a pop.
Okay, imagine you had ACL surgery.
I know.
I don't want to.
And
that sounds awful.
You go through rehab, but you didn't do a lot of range of motion.
Yeah.
So your knee is just kind of stuck, right?
Yeah, kind of like my thumb is
range of
right
motion.
here. Like my thumb doesn't bend because it's probably scar tissue in
Exactly.
it. Okay.
So if you had surgery on your thumb and you went through rehab and a lot of range of motion exercises, the scar tissue would be limited, and now you're making.
So I got scar tissue in this finger that I'm holding up on Zone TV.
Yeah, Ramon's got a crooked finger.
Yeah.
And my thumb won't bend.
Did you break it?
This one goes too far down. Oh, it just popped.
All
You
right,
hear it
yeah,
pop?
I don't like this game. I'm queasy. I don't like this game.
Will's gonna faint.
Coming
All
up.
right.
No, I'm not going to faint. I've never fainted, but.
I don't want to.
Anyway, Mike Wilson will join us at 9:20. Tennessee visited with Juke Harris yesterday in California. Big time prospect in the portal. Coming up, Foster film review on Keldric Faulk after this. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Lee Company believes in total transparency. That's why they send before and after photos and videos of the work they do so you know exactly what's going on with your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Trusted since 1944, Lee Company's award-winning team is committed to finding innovative and custom solutions specific to you and your home's needs. And in the 80-plus years that Lee Company has served this community in Tennessee, Kentucky, and in Alabama, those innovative and custom solutions have changed. You can contact Lee Company online at leecompany.com to learn more. As the technology has changed over the years, what hasn't changed is the great service that Lee Company provides here in Middle Tennessee. They've got over 1,800 team members. They're involved in our community, and they handle everything. HVAC, plumbing, electrical systems, you name it, they take care of it. Head online, schedule an appointment at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Hour 3 of Ramon and Will, live on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, the 104.5 The Zone app, where you can take us wherever you are. As we step right back into the Foster film room. It's nice in here. There's many leather-bound books, nice comfortable seats, big screen TV to watch. And all right, here we go. Just clicked on the Keldric Faulk film. What's the first takeaway you have, Ramon Foster, when you watch Auburn defensive lineman and Tennessee Titans first-round pick Keldric Faulk play football?
Ball of clay. That's just what I see in him.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And the only reason I bring that up is you always, for the casual fan that end up watching him, if they go back and see him or try to figure out how much they possibly can, like I would tell you, don't look at the highlights. The highlights are fun. See if you can find an entire game and where he's in to see what I mean by like a ball of clay. He, to me, is a guy that if you mold him right, put the right components in him and around him and get stronger and have a better understanding of how to play the game, you'll have one of the more elite players, I think, in this draft class. He's got the size for it. He's got the long arms that you're looking for, and he's also got the drive. Like for a guy his size coming out of college, 6'6", 270 plus, whatever he is right now, you not only see him at the line of scrimmage, but you see him down the field as well. I was showing you a clip in the Baylor game where he was at the line of scrimmage, got beat inside, and chased down a wide receiver. I'll say that again. He chased down a wide receiver on a screen pass outside. It was a quick screen. Offensive lineman went right, went back out left, and immediately you heard me say, why did you go inside right there, Keldric? But he chased down the field and made a play. The hustle is there. Like what Robert Saleh, I think, was expecting from these types of players that play this position. Uber athletic, long arm, rangy, very moldable in what you want him to be. And then we'll go more into what I actually saw on his play-to-play stuff as well.
Sure. Some of the bullet points and the facts, if you're just learning about Keldric Faulk, is that he only had 2 sacks last season and had 12 career sacks in 3 seasons, 9 of them in 2024. But he entered last year with high first-round grades. The production was not there. However, he is scheme diverse, as we would say. He can play multiple positions on the defensive line. At 6'6", 276 pounds, 34 3/8-inch arms are long pterodactyl wings.
Yes.
Very long arms. Lance Zierlein at NFL.com says, culture player praised for leadership, accountability, and character. Big and strong, comfortably wears 275 pounds. Dane Brugler says at the Beast. Doesn't look like a guy that's 275.
No, he does not.
Looks very lean.
He looks 240.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He looks like he's 240 pounds. Even in the pictures that he took with Carnell Tate, he looked like a tight end.
Did not lead Auburn in sacks or tackles for loss in any of his 3 seasons. And he is one of the draft's youngest players. Coaches, according to the Beast and The Athletic, coaches praised his advanced maturity and character. So let's get into the specifics, Ramon, on what you see from Keldric Faulk. I want to start with the positives on the biggest things that jump out about him in a good way when you watch his film.
He already knows how to use his hands to separate. He can engage you with those long arms that you mentioned and shed you out of blocks. Shed blockers off of him. He has the ability to stay low-ish at times, although that's also a negative for him. He plays high. Oh, he's high. He going to get that chest up to the wrong dude, and they're going to cave it in. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Why is that a bad thing? And what do you mean by playing high?
Leverage wins every single time. If he's running up high, that gives the offensive line all of his chest to work with. And also, when you play high, you make your target much bigger, too. He wants to be a guy that stays low to give you his shoulder pass or turn sideways to where you don't have his full body to block you. Playing high, to me, gives me that target that I'm looking for. When I'm pass protecting on somebody, I think most tackles and offensive linemen look this way in general, too. They follow the waistline, the belly button. Looking at your shoulders do nothing for me. If you give me your shoulders, we gonna eat. You go look at the first play, I think, in the Baylor game I was looking at, too. First play, he comes off. It might have been the first play or first passing play. Comes off, left tackle from Baylor, grabs him, hold him. Like, little brother, like, come on over here and try to snatch him down on the ground, too. That's because he got so high, made himself smaller, essentially, what I'm saying, too. and just basically allow the opposing player to control you. Getting back to his positives real quick, because you mentioned,
I want to start there.
The motor is there. He comes off the line of scrimmage fair, not great. Hand placement is there, and he's good against the run when he's good in technique. When his technique is elite, he's low back, shooting his hands. No, he gets off of blocks well. He's flexible, position flexible. And I'm not sure if this is a good thing, though, too. But he played 5 technique to the right and to the left.
What is 5 technique mean for those who don't know?
He played tight on the outside tackle, on the tackle. So he was tight on the tackle. So pretty much lined up as a defensive end. Then he went to a 7, where there's a tight end right there. He played wide in that position as well. Then he also will stand up and play a wide 9.
Which is the furthest out.
That
you can be. Yeah.
He goes from playing on the line of scrimmage tight to playing at the tight end in a contain role to actually standing up. Then I'm looking at the play. He moves over to the other side. He goes to the defensive left side, and he's in a 3 technique. Okay, that's fine.
Over the guard?
Over the guard.
Yep.
Then he goes to a 4-eye, inside eye of the tackle. I'm like, okay, he's moving everywhere. And then you go later into the game, he's playing a 0 technique.
Which is right over the center.
Dead
nose tackle.
And he also shades both sides as well. He's literally played everywhere. So, like, his lack of stats may be because of that.
Yep.
I'm not excuse making, but they found him as their playmaker. Now, here's the other part, though, too. When he played that 0 technique, it netted a sack. It caused the interior offensive line to go 2 guys on him and a linebacker blitz and end up creating a sack. Mm-hmm. So I actually look at that as a positive for him. He was electric enough to where teams had to find ways to figure out where he was, and it netted somebody getting a sack. It ain't going to be perfect early the way I see him. You're going to be frustrated probably as a Titans fan watching him try to develop, and you probably have huge questions about him. But Dietrich Wise is another guy that I think of that used to play for the Patriots that remind me of his abilities. And Dietrich is a 10-plus year veteran at this point. I think that won a ring with the Patriots as well. Big, long body guy from Mississippi State.
One of our resident Auburn fans at the F and Big Chat is in total agreement with you. At RMAU615 says, Auburn very much didn't use him to his potential. He was asked to eat a lot of double teams and set the edge, played some 3-tech and 4-eye. It says 1,000% agree with you. So to that point on the, you both know ball. To that point on the statistics part of it, do you feel like he maximized the role that he was given? Keldric Faulk within the Auburn defense.
For his team, yes. For himself, hell no. For his team, yes. Very selfless, very aware of what he was asked to do. When it was run game, like you turn on the tape, he's in the backfield, either making the tackle or almost making the tackle. Like he's around the plate often when you're asking him to line up in a 3 technique. He's beating guards the way you want him to. He will, now again, deviate from the plan and go inside when he's not supposed to, but instinctive players do that. And on that Auburn defense, I'm sure he was allowed to do it as well. Being able to shoot his hands, hold his leverage, good, not great. But being able to do that as a young fella before he's even had a full offseason of like just lifting, no classes, none of that, I can see why he's projected as high as he was. He, to me, is going to fit the scheme. He does legitimately remind me of the San Francisco defensive lineman that he had there, or the Jets that Robert Saleh had up there as well. That's why you see, again, if he can get himself around John Franklin Myers and do his thing and learn with Jeff, second, third year, you should see return.
And potentially on early downs, play next to John Franklin Myers, or even third downs. I mean, when John Franklin Myers kicks inside to rush from the interior at times on passing downs, you have John Franklin Myers next to Jeffrey Simmons, next to Jermaine Johnson, next to Femi Oladejo and or Keldric Faulk or Jalen Harrell or Jacob Martin, who, again, is like a 6-sack guy, not an empty chair, at edge rusher as well. So wrapping all this kind of with a bow on the positive sides of it, why is Keldric Faulk a good fit for Robert Saleh's scheme in a 4-3 defense?
Because he's the type of player that rushes, stops the run on the way to the quarterback. His relentless pursuit of making the play is always there. He's long, he's athletic, he's got drive in his game. You see he's self-motivated. He's also got the smarts as well. I'm watching him against A&M, Texas A&M, and Marcel Reed. You can tell Keldric had contained, meaning he was outside the tackle. Keldric went inside to kind of force Marcel to think he can go outside where his contain was, and then quickly went back out right. Marcel ended up going to the right side of the offense away from Keldric, and then ended up netting in a sack for the Auburn defense. When you look at them down the field, those guys that I played against that played in Robert Saleh's defense, they were making plays down the field. You turn on the tape, he's chasing down wide receivers. His CFL production is capable. Again, cleaning up technique and figuring out where you're going to play him. Him playing over the center is nasty work.
Right? I would imagine that's not going to happen in the NFL.
That's just nasty work right there. He shouldn't have been over the center, but he played it well and netted a sack for his defense.
Well, I'd say he probably should have been.
But that's what you get
for his development, maybe not. But for the Auburn front seven, and for a pretty good Auburn defense last year, it made sense.
And sometimes you just got to play.
DJ Durkin.
You just got to play the defense to allow everybody else to eat. Sure. You might not be the main character on some plays, but you got to play your role still.
So what I think is going to be interesting is now how the narrative is going to flip on Keldric Faulk, because now he is going to probably be the beneficiary of what the Titans' interior defensive linemen push his way.
Yeah.
The way that Keldric Faulk is able to use his arm length and just get vertical in both the run game and in the pass game and just set an edge and keep containment. Mm-hmm. Ramon, I see quarterbacks just kind of running into his lap at times.
He's so long. Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's where I see Keldric Faulk getting a lot of his sacks and getting a lot of his quote-unquote production, meaning things that you would put on a stat sheet. It's going to be the moments where John Franklin Myers and Jeffrey Simmons push the quarterback up into Keldric Faulk's rush.
Absolutely.
We saw that with Jalen Harrell at times last season, where Jalen Harrell just setting the edge and being there and not getting beat and not losing and being finished allowed him to pick up some sacks, cleaning up messes that Jeffrey Simmons helped create in the backfield. And that's no slight to Jalen Harrell. That's rush working together, interior and on the outside.
I agree.
I think we've got to have very different expectations, though, for Keldric Faulk than we do for Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate's skill set and his place on that offense means that he's got to be a dude really quickly. And Cam Ward and Carnell Tate are going to have to find a high level of chemistry and production right away. I don't think we can have the same super high expectations, Ramon, for Keldric Faulk, considering the amount of different stuff he's going to be asked to do here. The guys that he's playing with who are asked to do more, and Jeffrey Simmons, there's not an equivalent of Jeffrey Simmons on offense to take production away from Carnell Tate, first and foremost.
Right.
But when you talk about technique that's got to be cleaned up, is Keldric Faulk a little bit more of a project in your estimation? Is it going to take us a few years to see the fruits of the coaching staff's labor to really see the full production for him over the next 2-3 seasons?
Just unfinished right now, most definitely. Like, he's a pup.
How is he unfinished?
Learning to always consistently play high or be strong enough to where you can offset that. He's got to get some strength, I think, still. Not added weight, just change strength. Like, I don't even think his grown man strength has, like, kicked in yet. Like, and I do think that's a real thing, especially when you come into the league. Like, he's got to get hardened. I think he's got to have some hard days of saying, hey, you're more capable of what you're showing us. And if you got dogged out by J.C. Latham, who's an Alabama guy, of course, that'll be a nice little rivalry because he does rush off of both sides. Or you get dogged out by going inside of Peter Skoronski. Like, how do you bounce back? Him learning to continually answer that call. That, to me, is the new adjustment he'll have to have as a pro. This is now really your job. I know you got NIL, but, like, your job and career is based upon this. And how do you change and get better year after year, play after play? I think when you look at, like I said, his pad level, his strength, and also having a real rush plan, those are the three things I think will be the next phase for him as he's an open project to be better. The motor, the drive, the speed, the athleticism, that's all there. I don't think he's going to come out and have a Will Anderson Jr. type of year. If you have those expectations, can it? It's just not going to be his thing because I think Will is a different type of player, was a different type of player coming out. Leverage is a little bit different. Motor's a little bit higher, quick twitch. There's some twitchiness
it's a top
to
5
him.
pick. I mean, this is pick 31.
No doubt about it. But you can have yourself a foundational franchise piece if he takes a necessary growth pathway and don't have any injuries. That's always the caveat.
We just can't box score scout just the sacks on Keldric Faulk.
Right.
Because Keldric Faulk is going to bring you so much value the second he gets on the field and run defense. That's the biggest thing that I see when I watch the clips of him.
Yeah.
The other thing I see, and this was brought up in the Evan and Beg chat, saying how many batted balls did he have at the line of scrimmage?
He was good at
He had 4 passes defended last year. His biggest impact right away in the pass game is probably going to be getting those 34-inch arms up and just knocking the ball out of the air.
Something that Jeffrey Simmons has specialized in as of late.
And if that results in an incomplete pass, good. You win.
3rd and 8.
You win the rep.
Yeah.
On to the next one. Snap it clear.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the thing is I think there will be players drafted around Keldric Faulk who probably have more overall sack production.
Mm-hmm.
Cassius Howell is one of those guys, shorter arm, quick pass rush specialist. Malachi Lawrence is another one. Really quick get off, explosive around the edge. Like there will be players around him, and the narrative will be there. I can see the tweets now of, we really traded up for a guy with 4 sacks as a rookie in Keldric Faulk. How many passes defended in TFLs does he have? How many times does he set an edge that allows a linebacker to scrape over the edge and make a tackle for a loss or for no gain or 1 yard? A lot of what Keldric Faulk is going to do is not going to show up in the traditional pass rush stat sheet sense.
No doubt.
The way edge rushers are typically evaluated at this level. So powder dry, project player a little bit, but beyond that, the immediate impact that Keldric Faulk brings this defense, I don't think shows up in the stat sheet. It's a good breakdown. I like it.
I appreciate that.
I like it a lot.
Project players. I like that.
Coming up, the Steelers are doing something that doesn't happen very often in the NFL. We'll talk about it coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. Will, man, it happened again. We were used to the AC, warm inside, keeping that cooler in, and now
we sure were.
We got a Tennessee winter, don't we? That's exactly what we got going on. Is it Tennessee winter? Spring?
False winter, maybe
False
one would say.
winter is what we got going on. But I'm here to tell you this, man. If your windows don't open easily, if you want some of that cooler to come in, or they leak, or broken, or just need repainting again, you need to talk to the pros over at Window Nation, man. They can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price so you can raise them up and kind of enjoy this false winter.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ramon. And energy efficient means that your electric bill stays down because whatever you want to keep outside stays outside. That warm air in the summer, the cool air in the winter, it's not getting inside. You're keeping what you want in. And right now with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale, you can save up to 50% off all the windows for your home. Get them with 0% interest financing as well for 5 years by going online to windownation.com. Save up to 50% off all the windows for your home now with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale online at windownation.com. Wrapping up hour number 3 on Ramon and Will. There was a hilarious story on the Brennan Sorsby stuff. Texas Tech quarterback that I'll read you coming up here in 10 minutes. More details on the Texas Tech quarterback who is, that part of not a laughing matter, involved in a big betting scandal.
Tough.
Probably won't play college football again. We'll dive into all those details coming up here in 10 minutes. But, Ramon, the Steelers have done something that teams don't often do with Aaron Rodgers, placing the seldom used right of first refusal tag on him. So Aaron Rodgers can receive a raise of around 10% on the tag, which would push his 2026 salary to around $15 million, up from the $13.65 that he received last year. Thanks to his tender, the Steelers can match any contract offer another team gives him, and if he is not signed once training camp begins, Pittsburgh gets exclusive negotiating rights with Aaron Rodgers. If he does sign with another squad, they are now eligible to receive a compensatory draft pick as well in 2027. Interesting to see Pittsburgh using a play out of a playbook that's not often used.
It's not, especially not with a veteran like this. This is a fascinating approach to it, but when you look at where Pittsburgh is as far as the quarterback fiasco that they had last summer, waiting on Aaron Rodgers to sign, I guess when you look at Coach Mike McCarthy, who's there now as well, like he's trying to get Aaron committed as quick as he possibly can to get him in the building. I'm not sure if there's much that's changed about Coach McCarthy's playbook since he's last coached Aaron, but I would guarantee he wants him in the city. And this right here kind of forces Aaron's hand a little bit, or for anybody else that's negotiating with him, like, try if you want to. We still own his rights. It's a smart play. It's a nasty little play as well. But when you're trying to set your season up to go ahead and get started with practice and OTAs and minicamp, like, you kind of do need that guy. They went out and got a Michael Pittman Jr. They got DK Metcalf. Roman Wilson's there as well. Jeremy Bernard. They went and checked a lot of boxes to kind of set him up. They went and got him a new tackle, potentially. How you say it?
Max Ihanicher. Max
Ihanicher, who I thought was a project, but with Broderick Jones being injured right now, he had a neck issue that they're dealing with as well. They went out and got him a new left tackle. The group is set to have a nice piece. Aaron's the one that's, I guess, playing around. This at least puts something on paper for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it's another summer of just, when's Aaron Rodgers going to decide if he wants to play? And he loves the attention, and despite the fact that he, won't just come out and admit it, that he likes the attention. That's all this is. He loves the attention.
Yeah.
Always has.
Or just a lack of work.
Yeah, that too. So if he does return and reunite with Mike McCarthy, I couldn't believe this stat. He and Mike McCarthy would become the first starting quarterback head coach duo to win a Super Bowl together and then start a game together on a different team.
Against the team they beat in the Super Bowl.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Aaron was on fire that night in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He kicked our butt. Him and Jordy Nelson, who I now work with too. Golly, they was on fire that night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a crazy stat line right there.
It is.
I honestly, again, I say this and I've said this in the years past when I've done it on my podcast in Pittsburgh. I can't believe Pittsburgh's in this spot. But that's also why you as a GM have to start planning for the future. Like, the quarterback position is the most important one, of course, but Keldric Faulk was drafted because John Franklin Myers is older. Not that you got to get rid of him right now, but you need plans in place. Like, I know some of this fan base probably didn't think you needed another wide receiver that early, but you got to start planning for the future, even in years where it don't make sense to incorporate these guys. Like, Pittsburgh's never had a reset at quarterback.
Anthony Hill Jr. is, I think, the best example of that, because you have Cody Barton and Cedric Gray, and now you add Anthony Hill Jr., who could, to be fair, play with those two guys at the same time, or could also just replace Cody Barton.
Oh,
and be a good athlete in space to play next to Cedric Gray.
And if he, exceeds expectations, you put him in sooner.
Yeah, right.
Somebody asked a question. I put Danico Autry could be a Keldric Faulk comp. Yeah. And somebody asked, so Audrey took 45 years to develop. No, and look what he turned into. Like, I know you're not dissing him.
That's the point on Keldric Faulk, is that And Nick Bonito is another example of a player
Facts.
who I think just had a sack and a half as a rookie.
Facts.
Second-round pick, a high second-round pick, who now is one of the best pass rushers of the NFL. That's more your comp on Femi Oladejo.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bonito is. You hope on the high end of his evaluation that he could turn into that.
No doubt. And I think Keldric has more talent, especially I think Danico was undrafted as well and kind of turned into it. Like, Trey, I know you weren't dissing him, but like in 4 to 5 years, like you're just now hitting your prime.
Yeah.
Like years 4 to 8 is your prime for the most part.
Yeah, Danico Autry entered the NFL, you're right, as an undrafted rookie out of Mississippi State and East Mississippi Community College, EMCC, Last Chance U, and was a 24-year-old rookie with the Oakland Raiders in 2014. Didn't have a sack in 10 games. Then had 3 sacks in 2015, 2.5 in 2016, 5 in 2017, and then as a Colt in 2018, he had 9 sacks as a right defensive tackle. And then that's when they started moving him around, D tackle, D end, and then, of course, in 2023, he had 11.5 sacks playing next to Jeff for the Titans. There are a lot of guys who could put up big sack numbers playing next to Jeffrey Simmons.
Facts.
I think John Franklin Myers will be pushing towards double-digit sacks this year, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeff will, again. Keldric Faulk gives you what? 5 sacks?
I go 3.
I think that's about right for him as a rookie.
3 to 5, yeah.
I think that's probably about what the expectation is.
It'd be cool.
But the expectation is also I need some passes defended, blocked down at the line of scrimmage, and I need some TFLs in there as well.
Man, how Danico went undrafted is, he bench pressed 14 reps. Undeveloped.
Yeah, Mississippi State had a good little run there, D tackles.
Yes, I remember underestimating Danico the first time I played against him. That brother was heavy. Like everything about what he did on the field was just he ran heavy. He punched you heavy. Like I got a lot of respect for Danico.
Well, and in a lot of ways too, if John Franklin Myers is to the Titans under Robert Saleh what Danico Autry was at the end of the Vrabel era in 21 through 23, that's what you hope John Franklin Myers is. Because Danico Autry got here at age 31 in 2021 and had 9 sacks right away, 8 sacks in year 2, 11.5 in year 3. Similar profile age-wise at this point in his career and skill set-wise to what the Titans are obtaining out of free agency and former Bronco John Franklin Myers.
Getting it.
He's the new Danico Autry.
He is.
Yep. 615-737-1045 is our number. A funny way to characterize Brendan Sorsby's story in Texas Tech of gambling problems, and then in the same article, a writer then put odds that have changed for Texas Tech to win the Big 12. Irony in sports in 2026 next.
9:03. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Hoops News. Vols head coach Rick Barnes announced last night at the Big Orange Caravan here in Nashville that they will host Michigan State in the 2026-27 season. The Vols and Spartans have not played since the 2010 Elite Eight. In the NBA playoffs last night, Paolo Banchero for the Magic and Cade Cunningham for the Pistons dueled it out as they each had 45 points on the night, but the Pistons forced Game 6, beating the Magic 116-109 in Game 5. The Cavaliers took a 3-2 series lead over their Toronto Raptors after winning 125-120, and the Rockets in the nightcap avoid elimination again, winning their second straight and forcing Game 6 after beating LeBron James and the Lakers 99-93. NHL playoffs last night, the Canadiens took a 3-2 series lead after beating the Lightning 3-2. The Flyers took Game 6 and the series, beating the Penguins 1-0 in overtime as they move on to round 2, and it took 2 overtimes for the Golden Knights, but they take Game 5 over the Mammoth 5-4 and a 3-2 series lead. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show. It is 9 a.m. already in Nashville. Good morning. Welcome. Whether you're just starting your 9 to 5, you're just getting off work, or you're just traveling from the bedroom to the home office in your slippers, we appreciate you for joining us. You've come to the right place, whichever place you've arrived to listen on 104.5 The Zone TV, the 104.5 The Zone app. Are you subscribed to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel? If not, you shouldn't be. 615-737-1045, our number. Mike Wilson going to join us in 15 minutes. One of our favorites.
Yeah, he is.
VolQuest writer. Going to walk us through the Tennessee basketball portal edition. Maybe a little bit of baseball as well. Weekend rotation changing for Josh Elander this weekend with a trip to Lexington. We'll hit all that coming up in a few minutes. You've got a problem here at the studio. What happened?
I just had the worst experience ever.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like, y'all might want to close your ears or change the channel a little bit, but I went into the men's restroom.
Don't run our audience
don't change
off.
the channel, but like, I went into the men's restroom. You know, you walk in, la-di-da-di-da, you in La La Land. Bro, it's the worst smell I ever smelled in my life.
Oh, no.
I had some peanut butter crackers. I spit them out. Like, it was that bad. Like, the smell was horrendous. I walked it, like, either the sewers messed up around downtown, which is possible, or somebody need to be shot. I'm so serious.
Somebody needs to be shot.
Yeah. Somebody needs to go get their innards checked out. That was horrendous. I don't know who you are. And like the usual suspects that I would have blamed it on aren't here today. I don't even want to name them.
Who are the usual suspects?
It's just there's a crew that always go do too, and they aren't here today, okay?
So that we have a little side restroom that's like a one-seater.
Ooh.
That's like a lock the door and like that's its own restroom.
That's a private one, right?
And then
there.
we have a full men's bathroom with like 2 stall. Which one was it? Were you in the one-seater?
I was in the main row. I was in the 2-stall, 1 urinal one, man. Listen, this was horrendous. I've never smelled anything like this in my life. You're right. I walked in there chewing crackers. I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have went in there chewing the peanut butter crackers. So my mouth was open. Like that is like everywhere right now. I don't know if y'all ever dealt with this at a workspace. If you did, we need camera footage of who walked in and out before me. That's what I'm telling you right now.
Well, typically,
do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Listen,
that was way too loud.
Clear though.
It was like the voice of God.
Audio was clear.
I did not enjoy that. Usually there aren't cameras outside of a restroom.
Should be.
Okay.
It should be.
Okay.
I'm telling you, whoever did this, that is Cousin P. Where you at? Come and arrest whoever that was, okay? Because I can't. We in a public space. Like, that's a private too. You don't do that too in public. You don't do that too in public, man. That too right there will have us talking about you. Like potlucks, I'm no longer being a part of at all. If you got that inside of you, I don't even know what you're doing inside of your home. Don't ever invite me to a potluck at Cumulus moving forward anymore. that ruined my morning. What's crazy, I went outside to get some fresh air, grabbed me some crackers. I was la-di-da-di-da, and I walked into a fence full of funk. Bert's texting me. It weren't you.
A fence full of funk.
No.
Sounds like a Bonnaroo band.
I'm not talking radio trash about the crackers. I'm talking about the doggone.
That's like the one like semi-healthy snack we have in that vending machine too. Because anything else,
brother, it made me spit my crackers out, and I'm hot about that because I needed that little boost of nourishment this morning.
Face full of funk. It's crazy.
It was. The two crew ain't here, and I'm hot. That I don't know who it is. Y'all know who you are. Y'all not guilty today.
Okay.
In the workplace, though.
What? I mean, typically, folks in a situation like this, Ramon, would say, smelt it, dealt it.
I'm blaming it. Name it, blame it is where I'm at, okay? It wasn't me this time.
You know, you can look at the cameras. I sat in this studio the entire time.
You did. It wasn't you.
No, it was not me.
Whoever that is eats the worst foods.
It's a real crappy situation.
It's America. I know we're not like the most healthiest nation, in general.
Far from it.
But like whoever eats that, whoever left that behind eats nothing but Uber Eats fastest foods ever.
I'm talking going that quickly to someone needs to be shot because they stuck up the men's room.
Y'all know what I mean.
It's crazy.
We've all walked behind that one, but this is twice as worse.
You know what else stinks? If you're a Texas Tech football fan this morning. And you don't have a quarterback anymore. Brendan Sorsby, I don't think he's going to play football again for Texas Tech or ever for Texas Tech, considering he's coming from Cincinnati. Announced Monday he's taking an indefinite leave of absence to enter a residential treatment program for a gambling addiction. Pete Nakos had more details yesterday about his NIL situation, saying Brendan Sorsby has been receiving monthly payments from Texas Tech since arriving in Lubbock. He has 3 main contracts. How about this? 1 revenue sharing agreement with the school, an Adidas deal, and an outside contract with a multimedia rights company. So with the NCAA investigation underway, sources told On3 that Brendan Sorsby is expected to write a letter to the NCAA in the near future explaining the situation. NCAA rules state that if a player bets on their own sport at another school, the player could lose 50% of 1 season of eligibility. And you have to do education on wagering rules. But if you spent a certain amount of money, if you spent more than $800, that could lead to the loss of 30% of a season of eligibility. And that's if you are proven to not bet on your own team. For cumulative wagers that greatly exceed $800, NCAA staff is supposed to consider whether additional loss of eligibility, including permanent ineligibility, are appropriate. The bets on Indiana football in 2022 when Sorsby was a Hoosier are the crux of the investigation. That's the big problem here. Not the Reds game stuff, not the baseball bets. That's a problem. That's not fatal.
Right.
This is fatal. Yeah. Betting on your own team, even if you weren't playing for that team that season.
He cooked, and I don't think he's ever coming back from it at all. I just can't get how he was so flagrant. Like you mentioned it, like, Will, since my era, they used to get on to us about like just betting, like more than $20 with one another, like, or just gambling in general. Like you've got to be a very under the radar educated person to do what he did, and using his own name, his own account, and how he bet too. Like you said, the baseball thing, he can get away with that. He could possibly get away with that one, but he bet on Cincinnati. Like
Indiana.
It was Indiana. I thought it was Cincinnati. He was in Indiana. I mean, in Cincinnati.
He was on. He bet on the Cincinnati Reds, but when he played for Indiana, he wagered on Indiana games.
He cooked. I mean, this is why Pete Rose didn't get into the Hall of Fame.
So more details say that sources who have reviewed the betting data told On3 that back to 2022, Sorsby placed more than 10,000 wagers. And at one point averaged 20 bets per day across multiple gambling apps, including Hard Rock Bet, BetMGM, DraftKings, Prize Picks, and Bet365, among others.
Others?
Oh, yeah, among others. So what was funny was this. Matt Schick of ESPN put this out there. This is a CBS article talking about Brendan Sorsby. It's he threatens his status for the upcoming season as the Red Raiders prize possession from the portal. Texas Tech was an overwhelming favorite to repeat as the Big 12 champions. That's now moved to even money via FanDuel Sportsbook at plus 100. Their projected win total has also decreased, going from 11.5 at opening to 10.5 victories. And Sorsby is no longer on FanDuel Heisman Trophy odds list after opening at plus 2,500. You don't understand the problem here? This is the problem. We are literally talking about a player losing his eligibility because of gambling. And in the same article, talking about how it affects his gambling odds to win the Heisman and his team's odds to win the Big 12. What did you expect to happen in college sports with how much sports betting has been shoved down our throats?
I knew one person that was doing it while I was playing at UT, but his wasn't sports betting. He was playing online poker. He was a walk-on, so Fulmer wasn't worried about him. Yeah, Fulmer wasn't worried about him, but he paid for his schooling through online gambling.
According to NCAA rules, athletes of legal age can bet on UFC, horse racing, and NASCAR. Anything the NCAA sponsors a championship in is prohibited.
Dang.
And I guess, the rationale is, if I was a Texas Tech football player and I was really good friends with the Texas Tech baseball player, and then all of a sudden that Texas Tech baseball player is an MLB player and can text me and say, hey, so-and-so's not playing today. Acuna is out for the Braves today. Right. It's not public yet. Go ahead and put all your money on the other team. That's kind of the rationale, is the inside info that you're going to get within all of that.
What's fascinating, though, is the 10,000 bets part of it.
So many bets.
So, a parlay is just one bet, right? So it's not like each leg of the parlay. 8 of them doesn't mean 8 bets.
No.
So he had over 10,000 bets.
Uh-huh. Well, a lot of them were the balls and strikes thing, which if he's betting per inning balls and strikes,
that don't make it better.
No, I'm saying that's how you get up to 10,000 so quickly, is you're betting 100 bets per game.
How many games and how many times?
Exactly. If you're betting $1,
it's sicko behavior.
Do you know how many 10,000 is? How long do you think it'll take you to count to 10,000 in a day?
1. All right. 2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, how many times can you do that?
I got to restart. Hold on. 1.
All right.
You got to restart.
To the phone, 615-737-1045.
Take over.
Titanomics. What's up?
What's up, Titanomics?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Question. Can you guys get Hendon Hooker on the show?
Why is that?
I want to hear his thoughts on Heupel, coming into the program when Heupel originally arrived, and how he's transitioned from Virginia to Tennessee. I just want to hear his thoughts.
For sure.
And everybody loved the guy, and then he actually changed the program around.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
He was the catalyst. Yeah.
Titanomics.
Yeah. My next. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
My next question is with these new draft picks, am I the only one who's praying that none of them get in trouble before the season starts, or none of them get injured before the season starts?
Yeah, that's always
I've been worried since Panda, man.
For what reason are you worried?
What was the guy named Panda they called him?
Yeah, Isaiah Wilson.
Georgia. Oh my God, he scarred me, man. He scarred me. So I'm always looking at these guys' character and how they talk and how they interview, and I'm like, man, I just hope he got a good head on his shoulder and don't get in no trouble. Plus, injuries always concern me. But I'll hang up.
No, I would tell you, Sue.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
So Tate and Faulk did a little sit down with the Titans where they were pulling topics out of a hat. Titanomics, if you're nervous, go look at them two dudes interact and answer those. You'll get a different perspective of them.
This is not the front office, in my opinion, to worry about drafting good people.
Little edginess.
They are very focused on the character stuff, this front office is.
Oh.
That is top of mind.
But them boys got some dog in them, though, too.
Top of mind. Absolutely. But, yeah, no, I don't think that's a big concern with this front office.
I just wanted to say it because sometimes you look at good character guys and be like, oh, these are choir boys. I know some mean choir boys, though.
It's true.
This is true.
Mike Wilson joins us next.
When you start noticing cracks in the walls, uneven floors, or driveways sinking and separating, it's more than a home issue. It's a peace of mind issue. That's why who you choose for your foundation repair and concrete leveling, it really matters. I trust United Structural Systems, if you was wondering, because they've been doing this the right way since 1994, right here in Tennessee. USS doesn't believe in quick fixes or scare tactics at all. They take the time to inspect, explain what's happening, and walk you through real proven solutions that are built to last. Whether your home needs a foundation stabilization, crawl space repair, or concrete leveling for sinking sidewalks, patios, or driveways, USS uses engineered systems designed for long-term performance, not just a temporary patch. What really stands out to me is their commitment to integrity. If you don't need a repair, they'll tell you that. They told me, Ramon, no, your house is good. Like, you got to crack it, but it's not because of the foundation. It's because the house is settling. It breathes. It goes up and down, good people. What I'm telling you is this. From the initial inspection to the final repair, USS, they listen. They educate you, and they deliver results that you can trust. So you can feel confident your home is safe today and protected for the future. With decades of experience and thousands of homes repaired, you can trust United Structural Systems is here to stay and here to today, okay? Learn more, schedule your inspection at USSTN.com. United Structural Systems, committed to our customers, invested in what matters most. We are USS.
Ramon Will, hour number 4 on this Thursday morning. We call it Friday Junior. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, pleased to be joined by our very good friend, Mike Wilson. VolQuest on 3, covering Tennessee athletics. We'll talk some hoops, a little bit of baseball this morning. Speaking of baseball, Mike, are the Braves ever going to lose a series? As I'm kind of happy the fact they've just decided that's never going to happen again.
No, and well, first off, very good friend. You haven't had me on since January, so we can revisit that later.
There it is.
That hurts a little bit. Ramon, I'd like you to take over my scheduling situation because Will just doesn't rely on me enough.
I got you.
Braves,
you got my number, don't you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hit me next time. Go around him, okay?
Yeah, we need to circumvent him 100%. See, Will, so when the Braves pitching staff was basically decimated in spring training, I looked at my 2-month-old kid at the time and I said, I'm not going to let you be a loser like this. And I mean, there's Brave stuff all over his nursery, and I'm like, I'm so sorry for what I'm doing to you. Well, now I'm happy. Like, this is shocking. Like, he's going to have a great life. He's going to be so happy as a Braves fan. So we're good here. Like, this is thrilling. He can look at that stuff and be happy now.
He has never been alive for a Braves series loss. So you helped bring a good luck charm into the world, Mike.
People are saying that.
Yeah, no, I'm people. People are also saying that Rick Barnes was a little late last night for the Big Orange Caravan right down the road in Nashville. You guys had the reporting at VolQuest about him maybe having a meeting with Juke Harris, the top player left of the transfer portal. What can you tell us about that process and where Tennessee sits with the crown jewel, perhaps, of a very good transfer class?
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's obviously done elite work in the transfer portal to this point, adding 6 guys, 3 guards, 3 forwards, and really good skill sets. A lot of offense, a lot of skills. And I like a lot of what they've done with rebuilding this roster after obviously it essentially entirely turned over, except for 2 rotational players coming back. So, I mean, huge. And Juke's kind of that last piece, right? They've got 2 spots left. You probably want to fill one with another backup big. And the other spot is very much earmarked for Juke Harris. And Tennessee's been in on Juke Harris since the beginning of the portal process when he entered. He's also going through the NBA draft process. That's still out there. But Tennessee's been right in there. He visited Michigan early on. I know North Carolina's been that other school that's talked about a lot. But Tennessee does have a good prior relationship with Juke from when he was recruited out of high school and ended up choosing Wake Forest. So there's a depth of knowledge there relationally. And Tennessee, I think, has that working in its favor. And, a quiet period goes into effect Friday, so this week was the last chance to get out there to California where Juke's training right now and get face-to-face with him outside of Knoxville, basically.
Mike Wilson with us, VolQuest and on 3. Well, what is the skill set, Mike? What's maybe the scouting report on what Juke Harris would bring to Tennessee basketball?
Buckets.
Perfect.
He fits very much in just the scoring, and obviously he's an oversized wing, shooting guard type who can just score. And that's so much of what Tennessee's done. I mean, he's an efficient scorer from the floor, scored 21-4 last year. 3-point shot was like 33-ish and change, I think. So, like, that probably is that next little jump. But, yeah, I mean, it's a guy who's a 3-level scorer on the wing. And Tennessee just had one of those last year with Nate Ament, and they're obviously looking to have one again. And Juke Harris is the guy that they've targeted from the onset when you talk about that.
We're joined by Mike Wilson of VolQuest on 3 this morning, and also now his direct contact when he wants to come onto the show. Mike, I got you. Respect. So just the err on the side of caution, man, because we saw, of course, Kim Caldwell last year get an immense amount of talent and just kind of, fizzle out a little bit. I know this answer because I believe in him, but can Rick Barnes handle this amount of talent in one big year where, again, Final Four is the goal, national championship is also the end goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think the final count will be, they have 6 transfers, 4 signees, a couple more transfers. I mean, you're going to have probably 12 newcomers. They had 11 last year. So there is a familiarity with just a volume of newcomers. Now, what you're asking is the difference in that, which is everyone you're bringing in is a dude. Like there were some guys they brought in last year that were more of, well, maybe this is going to work out. Maybe in 3 years it works out. But everyone you're bringing in right now, especially in the transfer class, is a dude. You're going to have to manage that. But if there's one thing I think that Tennessee basketball has done so well is it has sustained the culture and it has sustained the attitude of a program. And that's a credit to Rick Barnes and his staff. It's also a credit to a lot of the players who've come before, like guys like Santiago Vescovi, Josiah Jordan James, Zakai Ziegler. Like, y'all know the cornerstones there who've sustained that. And now, the challenge is, can Dwayne Brown sustain it? Because he's kind of that returning player. But I think that's there. Like, I think Tennessee does a very good job of intel on these guys before they even bring them to campus, in terms of figuring out with people around them, their old coaches, that sort of stuff, like figuring out who these kids are and getting the intel on the kid as a person too, to make sure before they even bring them to town that they're going to fit in with what Tennessee wants as a program and the goals of the program, not just the individual goal.
Mike, how's it been, man, being able to be around Coach Barnes, the legend that he is, to kind of see him evolve into this type of coach, the one that goes into the portal to go get it, the one that will get 5-star players and one-and-dones and put guys in the first round of the NBA draft? Like, there's got to be fascinating to watch an older guy in a young guy's game, young coach game, do this. What has it been like?
Yeah, I mean, adapt or die, right? Like that's very much the way that this game goes, and that's the story of the portal. Coaches who embrace it. I mean, look at what Dusty May did last year. Dusty May won a national title because he won the portal. Like, at the end of the day, that's how you win right now in this environment. Texas Tech went to college football playoff last year because they went in the portal and built a roster. Like, that's the path. And you have seen Rick Barnes kind of go through phases at Tennessee. Like, he went through that chapter there from like 2018 to 22 where he was just bringing in 5-star freshmen like Kennedy Chandler, Josiah Jordan James, Jaden Springer, Keon Johnson, Julian Phillips, all those dudes. And so that kind of became the calling card, was have these veterans and bring in a 5-star freshman to supplement with some elite talent. Well, he pivoted 3 years ago, like the Dalton year. I think it's a year where you saw Rick Barnes and his staff say, we can address our needs immediately with proven players, or essentially proven commodities. And that's why they went and got Dalton Connect and Jordan Gainey that year. And Jordan Gainey was an elite transfer as well in the end. So they really have taken that on of saying, okay, whatever we need, we can get. Like, we can get better overnight in the portal. And it's been cool to watch Rick Barnes do it, because you've seen a lot of those contemporaries struggle with it. Some of those coaches who've been around longer not excel in the portal and lean on retention and those things more than going in and saying we can rebuild and reload in a really, really crazy way. And what he's done this offseason speaks to that.
Mike Wilson of VolQuest, our guest this morning at By Mike Wilson, where you get him on Twitter. Mike, people that want to criticize maybe this Hall or just Tennessee overall will say, well, but these guys don't know how to defend. And if you don't know how to defend, how are you going to play for Rick Barnes, right? Do you think that is a big concern, Mike, these players that Tennessee's bringing in being more offense-focused for a coach in Rick Barnes that demands such a high standard of defensive basketball?
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those things going into the year that you're asking about, is can this team guard to the level Rick Barnes wants? And to me, what I'm seeing happen is, I mean, you had 2 guys that could score last year. And when Jacoby Gillespie or Nate Ament was off the floor, you only had one who was an actual offensive threat. Well, you've now insulated yourself from that problem next year, but you do have to defend. But where I think Rick Barnes is taking confidence is you can teach defense. And also, last year's team was not great defensively in terms of individuals, and I still think it ranked 15th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. So there's a proof of concept there of saying, okay, I took a team that actually should not have been very good defensively, and they were still a top 20 defensive team. Like, Felix Okpara was really good defensively. Bishop Boswell played hard and did a good job defensively. Jacoby, by the end of the year, was a good steals guy and played hard defensively. Like, that was not a great defensive team, especially after Cade Phillips went out, but it still finished top 20 in the country. So I think there's a confidence there probably for Rick Barnes and his staff of saying, okay, well, we took that team and they were that good defensively. Let's get better offense, and they can still be good defensively because we know how to make them that way.
Mike, with Tennessee baseball heading to Lexington this weekend, can you say with any level of confidence that they rounded a corner over the weekend in the doubleheader win against Alabama, or do you still need to see more to buy into them getting hot at the right time and making a run down the stretch here?
Man, it's been impressive to watch since that Sunday against Ole Miss. And you're talking offensively specifically there, obviously.
Right.
You've seen the production's higher, but you've also just seen better at-bats. And I wrote last weekend about Levi Clark and Blaine Brown, and how Josh Elander's loyalty to them at this point is why the offense is succeeding, because they're two of the best bats on the team and they're hitting the ball now. Like Levi Clark's been outstanding in SEC play, and his season stats aren't good, but his SEC stats are great. I do think this team's turned a corner. I'm intrigued by how the starting pitching shuffle plays out this weekend. I think it needed to happen. What the effect of that is interesting because Evan Blanco's been so good on Sundays. Now he's going Saturday with Keegan Coons on Friday. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of things going really well there. And I think it's a young team getting deeper in the year, and you're becoming a more experienced team as you play. And the quality of at-bats is higher, and that's why you're seeing more success.
Do you think the narrative on Josh Elander at the latter part of the season, where it matters, will shift to change a little bit? Because Vol Nation get a little wild, Mike, from time to time.
I think the narrative's been a little bit misplaced anyway.
Okay.
I think there's just been a little bit of impatience, which I get. The program's been elite for so many years in a row. Tony's gone. Josh Elander's in. He's a different personality. Like one of the common things you hear is, well, go get thrown out. Show your players that you have their back. It's like, well, that's not who Josh Elander is. And those players know he has their back. Like if you saw the reaction those guys had when he got hired in that video, like, you know how they feel about Josh Elander. I just think it's a young team with a first-year head coach, and there needed to be a little bit more patience and grace there than maybe there was, because now you're starting to see it turn a little bit. Like you're starting to see the guys who are younger start to play their roles a little bit better. But, yeah, reality was there were a lot of guys not producing early in the year, and the coach got blamed for that, I thought. And I do err on the side of players end up winning games and executing. And if Josh Elander hasn't struck out once this year, is what I would say about that. But his ability to coach these guys, stick with these guys, and instill a drive in them is now why they're succeeding. So I think he's done a really nice job.
The pitching staff, the shakeup that they've had, what type of adjustments do you think they need going into the latter part and into the tournament as well? Because, again, like you said, the offense has picked up. The staff just got to get there, kind of catch up a little bit. You think this was natural as far as Josh Elander's management of the pitching staff as well?
The pitching staff, that's another area. Like I tweeted out the stats the other day. They're top 25 in all the relevant categories that you look for. Like walks per 9 innings, walk to strikeout ratio, strikeouts per 9, hits per 9. Like they're top 5 in walks per 9 and strikeout to walk ratio. Like that's very, very much the same under Josh Reynolds as it's been under Frank Anderson. The difference is when it's been bad, it's been catastrophically bad. And I think the view of the pitching staff is skewed because when it's been bad, it's been so bad. And also it's thin. Where Tennessee's pitching staff, and answer your question, where Tennessee's pitching staff needs to take a jump is the guys on the fringe right now. They need Braden Krenzel to be a dude. Like the starting pitching's been really good outside of a couple of moments. Like Keegan Coons right now is a first rounder. Evan Blanco's giving you 6 innings every start and you're in position to win. They need better from Landon Mack, but they need the bullpen to be deeper. They need some of those guys to emerge because you really have 3 guys, I think, that you trust right now back there. You need to have 5. Like there needs to be a couple more guys that show up and really solidify themselves, and that's that next step for that pitching staff is the guys after Cameron Appenzeller and Brandon Arvidsson and Bo Rudy, like who's going to be the dudes behind them, because it is still a thinner pitching staff, even if it's performing pretty well.
Mike Wilson, our guest this morning at By Mike Wilson. If you're not reading his work, what are you doing? If you're a Tennessee fan, if you're just a fan of college athletics, a great storyteller and great friend to Ramon, who he will now communicate with when we want to have him on the show. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'd like to be seated at Ramon's table at your wedding, Will. Thank you.
We can do that. Yeah, that can happen.
Don't play with us. We'll be, listen, Mike, I told him only rule he has to worry about is no phones ringing during the matrimony. Other than that, we're going to clown.
I'll put you right between Ron Slay and Ramon, and you'll have the best time of anybody at the wedding.
Oh, now I am happy.
Thank you, Mike. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Mike.
Guys, thanks for having me.
All right, there's Mike Wilson with us here this morning.
Glad you could right that wrong right there.
Right the wrong of not having him on since January. I know. I feel like Mike and I just brought to air the conversations that I just text him all the time and just bother him.
Yeah.
He's probably very annoyed at me being like asking for nuggets.
We all got those types of friends.
That's right.
Yeah. I
Absolutely
feel like I'm that type of friend for a lot of people.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Coming up, Titans just made 6 roster moves. We'll tell you what they are next. Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will. Buck Rising show after this. Tomorrow on your Friday morning, Brent Hubbs joins us at 7:20. Charles Davis joins us at 8:20.
CD.
And Ron Slay at 9:20.
The Savage.
That's a good trio of Vols right there.
It is.
Of Tennessee alumni. That's right.
All graduated.
That's absolutely right. All got the degree.
I'm not surprised.
That's what we bring you.
It is.
On a daily basis. Titans have waived 6 players. Edge Ollie Gay, linebacker Nate Lynn, nose tackle Isaiah Rakes, linebacker Cam Riley, guard Clay Webb, running back Blake Watson, and they placed defensive end David Abuka Agoha on the exempt/international player list.
Hey, that's
so he will
cool.
not count against the 90-man roster as an international player.
That's actually pretty cool right there for David Abuka Agoha.
Making room for the undrafted rookies. And I imagine we'll get that announcement tomorrow when rookie minicamp begins.
I was waiting on the official announcement for sure.
Either this afternoon or tomorrow, I would imagine. Maybe Saturday. Who's to say?
I couldn't imagine getting cut before you even get an opportunity to. I saw all this stuff in hindsight. While I was in it, I could imagine getting cut. But the idea that you are out, looking for a job before practice even starts is
it's tough.
Game. Yeah, it'll humble you, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
God, it'll humble you.
Definitely tough. So I want to look a little bit more tomorrow at the full roster as it stands right now and where there are still spots to add and spots to kind of make adjustments. But looking at the totality of the offseason, it does feel like they have checked off a lot of boxes in terms of immediate needs. It's obviously helped by the fact that you've had the same GM, the same regime, kind of putting things together now for a second straight year. They've come a long way in the D-line. They've come a long way in the secondary. They've really addressed wide receiver. Now they almost have a surplus of wide receivers. Other than O-line, what do they still need to address for you?
The defense, it is?
Or just everything, other than offensive line?
In general?
Because guard is obviously a major question at this point, and I'd say center is a mediocrely big question.
It's always the hardest thing is getting the offense caught up. Like, that to me is the only concern. I think the defense handles itself. I always do with teams, no matter how good or bad they are. The defense is usually easier to install. But getting, to your point, as far as the offensive line position goes, getting that together, who's going to be in the rotation, how long you're going to keep the rotation, and just Cam figuring out the offense. I think we got an answer that Cam was going to be able and available to throw early in OTAs and everything else moving forward, which is crazy on his initial diagnosis. Somehow it was potential surgery. But that, to me, if you're a Titans fan or cover him, that is my only concern. How quickly can Cam pick up this offense and run it? That's the only concern I have at this point. The Titans are what they are at this point. I don't know who else they're going to sign. I know we brought up Joey Bosa as a potential candidate here in Nashville, Tennessee. But it's set.
That could be another speed edge.
It's tough for Cam to learn 2 playbooks within 2 years. And this isn't just a transition notebook. This is a full change playbook for Cam.
Sure.
And when you're trying to make sure that you curate him as much as you can to be the best pro that he should be, that's tough sledding. They got the right guy to do it. Well, I would say this. They got a very experienced offensive coordinator to be able to handle this.
Experienced staff overall.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's my only concern moving into it. You got many other than the guard situation?
Nickel is a big question.
Nickel.
Yeah, I think nickel. I think tight end is another one.
Yeah. Tight, really? Just because of lack of?
I just think it's interesting. I mean, you're replacing Chig, who's your leading receiver last year. Is Gunnar Helm ready to be your tight end 1? I tend to think he is. Beyond that, Daniel Bellinger. Jared Kanik, David Martin Robinson. Those 2 probably fighting for 1 spot.
Right.
I'm not sure you keep both of those guys around. And who else can factor in? Kylan Granson's another one.
Gunnar Helm's got to be better at his run blocking this year for sure. And I'm fascinated to see what role that they play as far as the tight ends go.
Yeah.
Bellinger and Helm specifically, those 2, because again, this is an offense that's predicated, I think, on 6 and 7 man protections.
Well, because right now, if you were keeping 4 tight ends, it's Gunnar Helm, it's Daniel Bellinger, Kylan Granson, and who? probably between David Martin Robinson and Jaron Kanik, your draft pick. And I don't think, too, in this draft, it's a foregone conclusion that 7th-round picks are automatically making rosters around the league.
Oh.
From what Mike Bergonzi said about how NILs impacted the back end of the draft, from what draft analysts have told us about how the 7th round was maybe weaker this year than it has been in previous years. No disrespect to Jaron Kanik, who I think provides you a really interesting skill set and maybe projects as a higher ceiling player than what we've seen from him because he's only been a tight end for 1 year of his college football life after transitioning from linebacker. But I'm not sure that 7th-round picks are just automatically guaranteed. I mean, they're never guaranteed roster spots, to be fair, but I think especially this year, David Martin Robinson's going to say, well, hang on a minute. I caught a touchdown last year, and I've been here.
And
you're not just going to give up that spot just because you got drafted.
He's well at blocking as well. Where Jaron Kanik can help himself is going to be non-offensive things.
Could he just be the fullback? You think?
Could.
Jaron Kanik?
Or teamer. Like, he's positioned himself to be multifaceted in college.
Yeah.
Like, I mentioned it about him when when we did the recap on OTP.
Yep.
Like, he, to me, could end up being their Kyle Juszczyk.
See, that would be fantastic.
If he possesses some physicality to his game, Jaron Kanik is the way I kind of see that. Put him in motion, move him around, because I don't see Gunnar Helm being that type of guy. Or a major teamer. Special teamer, I mean.
Tonight, my Atlanta Hawks are back in action. Game 6 against the New York Knicks. Celtics Sixers, that is a 3-2 series in favor of Boston. T-Wolves looking to finish off the Nuggets tonight in Game 6. That series has been a little spicy.
I think all the series now are headed to 6.
Everybody's at 3-2.
Yeah.
The Lakers lost last night at home to the Rockets. Cavs beat the Raptors. Pistons making things interesting against the Magic, and that was talking NBA.
LeBron
I'm a fair-weather NBA fan. You know this about me. Hello.
Yeah.
My voice.
LeBron doesn't need this, man. 3-0. They've walked it back down 3-2.
Yeah.
I heard two pros and a couple of Joe speak about it this morning. This is just going to light a fire to the Jordan versus LeBron.
You know what lit a fire under me last night? The Pittsburgh Penguins going out in Game 7.
I heard.
Philadelphia Flyers winning the series. Game 6, excuse me.
Yeah.
In overtime, golden goal to win the series. Flyers on to the next round. The Lightning also might be dead. Down 3-2 in the series to Montreal after the Canadiens won last night.
Tonight.
And then 2... Yeah.
Are we going to have a hockey minute
That was
tomorrow?
supposed to be a pun from Justin. And then the Golden Knights 5-4 over the Mammoth in 2 overtimes. Probably at 1 in the morning.
Is that the Utah Mammoth?
Yeah.
Yep. Utah Mammoth. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
I like that one. Thank you. That's a good one.
I thought it was all right.
Back at it tomorrow morning. Charles Davis at 8:20. The normal Friday guests as well. Brent Hubbs, Ron Slay, and hopefully you. Hope you'll join us tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. bright and early. I'm so just out of it today, I can't even get my phrase out on the end of the
Battery's
show.
low.
Bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We'll talk to you then.
You and I deserve a break at some point in time, but you got a wedding coming up. You too, Hawk. You too.
Thank you.
Not you, Zach.
He going anyways.
Please remember.
In there.
Wow. Your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot. Peace. Love y'all, man.